when it comes to how do you determine that you're entering into a good niche that's low competition that has enough traffic? Because lots of niches are super low traffic, low competition, but not a lot of traffic. So how do you find a really great niche that you can enter into?
Competitors, dude. Like one of my things. Okay, I'm gonna show you a great little trick. Has anybody ever here been sued? I got sued by Google and Twitter, but that's a whole story. Hopefully, none of you have ever been sued. Being sued is not a good thing. Basically, I reverse engineered how Twitter worked and created a Twitter spamming bot that I only meant for the highest intentions of the good of the people. But they didn't see it that way. That's a whole new story. Okay. So, one thing you want to look at is, do you have competitors? Check. And let me just go ahead and I'm going to start this on a Google Doc. And what I'm going to show you will probably freak you out. Okay. Let's pretend that we're going to get into a niche that I know very well. We're going to get into selling supplements. I got a question for you. Do you think the leading player in any niche has ever been sued? Probably so.
Probably.
Probably.
Yeah.
Okay. So what you want to do is type in the name of the product. And if you had like the LLC, it would even be better. Um, and just type in lawsuit. And guess what? Ta-da! So one of the things you want to do is you want to look at, has any lawsuits been filed against the competitor? And you say, Charles, this is friggin' stupid. I got up at 11 a.m. to tell me that we got to go pretend to be attorneys. We're not pretending to be attorneys. I want to show you something that will freak you out. And I only mean that in the nicest way possible, by the way. And y'all, you guys can see my screen, correct?
No.
Oh my gosh. What kind of tomfoolery is this? Okay. We're going to go here. Desktop number 2. Okay. So I'm typing in, we know that Sugar Bear Hair is what we believe the leader. We don't know this for a fact. We believe this. So I'm going to type in Sugar Bear Hair lawsuits. Do this to any leading player, and they may not have been sued, but kind of go the first player, the second player, third player. And Google AI will say, hey, guess what? And I'm going to just throw this in a Google Doc here. It's going to say, well, you know what? They had a lawsuit filed against a competitor and based on trademark infringement. Okay, well, let's just kind of look at what that data may say. Okay. We know that B Suite LLC is the maker. True Reflection is a company that sold vitamin gummies. Okay, I'm going to freak you out in a second. I'm just going to do that. I'm just give you warning. Just give you warning here. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. Do you think the lawsuit would have Sugar Bear Hair telling how many units they've sold? Or do you think it would talk about how many units the competitors sold? Or do you think lawsuits don't go into the quote unquote, you know, money space? Who thinks that we're going to find out how much money they've been making?
We'll probably find that out for sure.
Okay, so let's just see what we can do here. I mean, um, okay, looks like your professional content. Okay, I don't want to do that. I'm not logging in that. Let's go over here. Let's go to the next one. So I'm gonna open a couple of these things, and sometimes you need to kind of dig a little bit into it, you know. Okay, we're just gonna open a couple of them, and let's just see what we can find. We're looking for the legal brief. There's going to be this thing that's got like a bunch of numbers on it. And we want to look at that. So guess what? If you've got this number right here, this is the key to finding this stuff. So I'm going to just put it here. Okay. So this is how they find it. And this is what we're going to look at. You say, Charles, this is the most boringest shit you've ever done. I promise you. When I finish, almost everybody on here will be selling gummy bears. Just saying. Okay. So what we want to do, we don't want to read I don't care about the technical details of this stuff. I want to see the money. Like who's suing who, how much money is passing through. That's kind of what I'm interested in. So let's just kind of scan through this. Basically, you got two companies fighting each other, and they're saying it's a design trademark. Guess what happens? If I say that Joe copied my, let's pretend mine is called Sugar Coca-Cola hair. You get good hair like me. And Joe copies me. I have to prove that Joe is like stolen, taking money from me. You know what that means? I need to disclose numbers. Say, okay. I'm just kind of looking through here. As we start digging into this, guess what? They're going to have to disclose how much money they believe they lost because of this thing. Okay. I'm just going to go digging through. I'm just kind of quickly glancing at it. Okay. So, what are they actually saying? I'm going to do a Google search on this in a second. Okay. Trademark, it's a lot of stuff here. And I'm really trying to get to the good stuff here in a second. Okay. So, whenever you start digging through this, guess what? They're going to talk about how much money they made, how much money they believe they've lost, and everything else. So let's go. And I'm not going to quite do that on here because it's going to take a long time to go through this document. But they basically have to, and you can just put in a dollar sign, by the way, like I just did. They're going to have to show how much money they lost. Would y'all like to guess how many units of the competitor product was selling? He's already read this lawsuit, by the way. If I remember correctly, they were selling about 1,200 units a day or something like that of this competitor product on Amazon. Now, I just got a question for you. Is that a lot of products to be selling pretty quickly? That's a lot of products to be selling pretty quickly. And the long story, and I'll save you some of the details of it. Basically, the gummy bear people, before they filed this lawsuit, they both spent $5 million to buy a waterfront house in, I think, Florida, if I remember correctly. Now, I want you to think through that. They have to disclose how much money they're making, how much money they lost, and everything about it. And as you dig deeper into this, you'll realize anyone who's been sued will then have to basically talk about what they lost, how much they made, everything. Now, I'm not going to spend 30 minutes digging through that, but I want you to see how to do that. So I'm going to use another one. Let's go. Okay. Okay, that's not. I'm going to use publishing.com. I'm not going to do that. That's not kosher. Um, but if you put anything in here, like health supplement, in fact, I can't spell it, guys. You will find that all the top players have been sued almost by somebody. And guess what? When that happens, they have to disclose everything, how much money they've made, what their books are. And I'll show you an example. Have y'all ever heard of the salty droid? Have y'all ever heard of the salty droid? The dude hates gurus. And I guess he stopped like many, 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 many years ago. Like from 2005 or so, what this guy did was he was going after gurus. He hated, for whatever reason, he hated, if you were a guru, he hated you. I don't know, maybe he wasn't a guru. I don't know what the case was. And you know what he was trying to do? He would be insulting these people, like making fun of these people, calling them scammers and liars and everything that you can possibly find. This dude's also an attorney and his wife's an attorney. Why would he do that? Because the minute he could get sued by these people would be the minute, as an attorney, he could make them open their books. And you know what he was saying? He didn't believe these people were making as much money as they claimed. So therefore, he was trying to get them, quote unquote, in a lawsuit. Now, does that make sense? If you're an attorney and you hate gurus, guess what? This guy goes back. I'm gonna probably go back. Let me go back like maybe 10. Because in a lawsuit, what happens? You have to open your books. Now, this is an extreme case of it, but what I'm saying is if you want to see how much money your competitors are making, start Googling the lawsuits. I think it will freak you out to see how much money is actually made. Does that make sense? Number one, have they been sued? How much money has been because they have to open their books? Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. The next step, remember, we're trying to find a niche. Joe, give me a niche, any niche.
Hair loss.
Which one?
Hair loss.
Ah, okay. So the next thing is how much money are people willing to pay to fix the problem? Quick question. How much do you think people, I mean, I know this answer. How much are people willing to pay to fix their problems?
If it's a pain,
Because,
they won't pay any amount. If it's a vitamin, they won't pay anything.
right. So I'm gonna just say I'm gonna get a hair transplant. Okay, let's get a price on it. Okay, how much is it to get a hair transplant? Well, hair transplants between 8 to 18,000. I like that, but the average is 12,000. This is going to be the key. If you're in a niche and you're trying to find like this is my thing. What is the cost to solve the problem? Because if this is low, it makes no, it doesn't make and it doesn't fix anything. If it's low, stay away from it because then you have to play Walmart. You know what happens? You had to sell on volume. And I don't know about you. I don't want to sell on volume. I mean, I can. There's certain value in that. But here's the thing. When you look at how much it's going to cost to solve the problem, that's an indication of how many people are in the niche. So I've got a problem. I got into poison ivy. How much does it cost to fix my poison ivy problem? A bathtub, some water, and probably some oatmeal bath, whatever. You sprinkle the oatmeal stuff in there. It doesn't really cost a lot to solve the problem. I don't know about y'all, but I am receding quicker than I expect. One of the things you want to look at is how far are people going to solve the problem? So like we know how much it's going to cost, but how far are people willing to go to solve the problem? Now, I got a question. How far do you think people will go to fix their hair loss? They will let you sedate them. They will pull hair off other parts of your body and they will replace them on your noggin. Does that sound like a fun or interesting thing? No. Doesn't sound good to me. I don't like to be sedated. B, I don't want to lose hair anywhere else. Just saying. I'm just a little nervous of it. But if people are willing to get surgery to solve the problem, like if you're looking at surgery to solve the problem, you definitely want to fix the problem. Or take a pill. The problem is once you figure this out, this is going to be the big indicator because how far they're willing to go to solve the problem will tell you how desperate they are. Now, I've got another question. Has anybody ever chewed on their fingernails? And do not answer this on the call. I'm not asking you to raise your hands, but if I've got a friend who bites his nails nonstop. You know what he has to do? He's got clear shellac on him. He goes to a nail salon and they put stuff on his fingernails to keep him from biting. Now, is that a bad problem? Well, no, he fixes it by a nail salon visit and gets to see a couple, nice ladies giving him nails, the shellac. That's not a big problem to fix. So if you come up to Charles, I can fix your nail biting. What difference does it make to me? I don't know. Like the dude going to the salon. That's not a big problem. So if they're willing to go, how extreme are they willing to go to solve the problem? What is the cost to solve the problem? And then your next question is, how many people are solving the problem? This is more important, with different methods. Because this is key. Would anybody like to tell me how many different ways can I solve my hair loss problem? Well, extreme, I can do the surgery. I can always get surgery, right? Could I take some medicine to solve the problem? But we know that medicine to solve the problem could make you impotent for the rest of your life. People still take it. I can do like scalp treatments. I can do microneedling. Microneedling I like. I can take some pills. I could probably go on here. I can do red light treatment. This is the key. The more things a person is willing to do, the better the niche is. Because I got a question for you. If I could do surgery, which is dangerous. I could take meds that could leave me impotent for the rest of my life. I can do scalp treatments. I can do microneedling. I can take some pills. I can do red light treatment. Actually, the list goes on and on and on. Does that tell you that humans are desperate to have hair? Dude, like I look at Joe like, man, I wish I had hair like that again, or even Dominic. You guys have a head full of hair, But here's the thing. If you do this and guess what? You come up with 2 solutions, it's probably not that big of a deal. People have to be willing to do crawl across broken glass. The more they're willing to do, guess what? The more they're willing to pay, the more options you have. Now, okay, I'm going to use me as an example. I started losing my hair probably in the late 40s. Was it enough to me to get surgery? No, it wasn't a big of a deal. My dad was a barber, so I've seen plenty of bald people. Am I willing to take meds that could leave me impotent? Not really. Could I do scalp treatment? Actually, I have stuff in the bathroom. I used to run a microneedling company. Could I take some supplements and vitamins? Probably so. I had a biotin gummy bear thing. Could I do red light treatment? I do, but I just don't want to spend 20 minutes for. There's any number of solutions to the stuff. There's even shampoo I can take. But the key is, to me, it's not a big deal. Whether I have hair or not, I don't care. I still look sexy if I was bald. But think about this. How far are people willing to go to solve a problem? Now, if I'm going to get in a niche, do you get in a niche with 2 solutions, 3? You get in a niche where there's lots of solutions. Okay. How many people are writing? And I'm going to actually ask Joe, how many people just Google hair vitamins? Just Google that for me if you don't mind. Or I can do it, either one. How many people, how many hair vitamins do you see? Probably a lot. There's biotin, there's gummy bears, especially made things. There's serums. There's just all kind of stuff that we can find. So would you agree with me? I'm just asking that this could be a good niche to be in. So what you want to do is start with a lawsuit. And I will just tell you, it's also going to freak you out when you see how much money these companies make. Because when you do that, you're going to be exposed to how much money they make. And guess what? You could then start backtracking in how much does it cost to run their business and how much profit it is. Now, let's pop back over here. Okay. So I'm going to go back to Sugar Bear. Let's see. Let's go back here. And by the way, is everyone tracking along with what I'm saying? Because I know we're doing some wild stuff today. Can get a yes or no. Are you guys tracking with what's going on? And if you're not, just say, Charles, I'm not tracking with this. But does this make sense? Yes or no? Oh, I got Heather on. I'm going to see if I can unmute Heather. Hey, Heather, how's it going? She's probably like in a legal case, you know, like defending somebody from like some capital punishment. And I'm taking her off mute. Okay. I will leave Heather muted. Heather is an attorney, specializes in legal insurance cases. Okay. So let's go back over here. Once you have this crazy little search number, you can then just pull up the legal case. You can start looking at it. You can download the PDF, by the way. You can download the PDF and ask ChatGPT to analyze it for you. Or you could put B Suite Creations. Let's put income or sales. Okay. What I'm trying to find, you can come over here, you can just grab these things. Okay. I'm gonna just do a search corporations. I'm just gonna do a couple of them. Okay. Let's go back over here. Okay, access denied. Blah, blah, humbug. Okay. So we can do a search by the division of corporations. We can get address, we can get name, we can get income, not income, but we can get these right here, managing partners. And guess what we do? I'm just asking, would it be beneficial to be able to pull this data up? Once you have the person's name, and this is a crazy Google search, you then search the individual member's name, and then you see if they have been sued or if they've been named in the lawsuit, and then you start pulling up income. And guys, I'm just telling you, like, once you do this, it's going to be, and also, by the way, I would suggest even just going through this right here, because you can see how, like, you know, like how things are comparing. Like these guys had a bear, the competitor had a bear. These pair, they had a bottle that looked almost exactly like. And when you start looking at this stuff like that, it also will help you become a better marketer. Because you know what this really kind of came down to, I believe? My personal belief is these cats funnel hacked these cats. Because they got a blue bear, they got a blue bear. They got a, I mean, do you notice like the similarities between the two of them? And a lot of times when this stuff happens, it comes down to people going, well, you know, I funnel hacked him. I'm going to ask a question. How many people have heard that term? I'm funnel hacked somebody. Russell never meant it to take for it to take the life that it did. You know what people took it as? I'm just going to steal it. I'm going to copy it. And if you knock off Bob's product, guess what? Doesn't really make any difference. You know, Bob's got some product, you knock it off, big deal. You know what? That may sound like a big deal, not a big deal to you when it's quote unquote digital products. But when you knock off someone's physical product, you literally are creating a crap load of problems, if that makes sense. Because you just can't do that. So I'm going to just leave it at that. I'm just going to leave it there, but you can actually get an idea of there. Okay. So this would be what we would do. Do the Google search, find out the volume, find out what else is out there. And that's how you figure this out. But if you do this and there's not many options, like what does it cost to solve the problem? If it's a cheap, like poison ivy, I'm not buying an AC funnel product on how to fix my poison ivy. Just not going to do it. It is not a high enough problem. Does it make sense? Can I get a yes or no? Okay, so give me the next question, guys. Okay, let me unmute Joe. How's it going?
Good, Charles. Hello. Good morning, everyone. One, super excited for your Google course coming. I know I've been bothering you for it, but
Oh,
super
dude,
excited.
dude,
I'm
I was
glad
so
Dominic asked that question because that kind of piggybacks on what I wanted to ask. So thanks for asking that, Dominic. But yeah, jumping into it, just for context, I know you know this, Charles, but just for everyone else, like I'm in the home improvement niche, And I haven't applied the AC funnel there, but I'm at the point where we do pay per call for people. And the question for you, Charles, is like, I'm excited to learn this Google stuff because I think I have a good buyer base and now
Hmm.
I got to supply. And so the question for you is kind of like what Dominic asked, like how to pick a right niche. And Alan talked about it last week. Like there's like the sub $5,000
Yes.
customer, the 5,000 plus customer. And everyone goes up their plumbers, which is funny, right? But like, how do you distinguish what's worth it? And then picking back off that, um, how do you figure out if it's profitable to generate calls on Google and sell them to local companies if I'm not the true contractor in my scenario? If that
Okay.
makes sense, I'm asking,
Okay.
right? If
That's
this
perfect.
cost per click is like $10, and I know that it takes 5 clicks to convert, $50 CPA. If I have to sell for $100, I can do that 5 times a day, $10 times a day. How to differentiate that? There's a
Okay.
lot of questions all in one. Does that
Okay,
make
it's
sense?
good. Good. Let's do one at a time. 'Cause I'm a horrible typist today. Carpal typist every day. That's what happens. You get carpal tunnel surgery. Okay. So hit me with your first question.
Okay. How to determine um like where the money is at.
Okay.
And then after you determine where the money's at, whether it's plumber in homes for services
Okay.
specifically, let's say for my example, whether it's plumbers or roofers or waterproofing or landscaping, whatever, then it's like how do you, let's say I want to do basement waterproofing because that's a 15, $20,000 job
Hmm. Foundation
usually.
repair, huge thing, huge thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then it's like, okay, how do I see which markets am I profitable in using, I'm guessing, the Google AdWord keyword research. I don't know, but that's what I'm excited for your course to learn. Hopefully it covers it.
Okay. Got good news for you. Got good news for you. One, me and Brandon made his course last Wednesday. So my course actually has been done. I just literally need to like literally just sit here and hit render to render this video. That's the only thing that we're waiting for in my stuff is for me to literally render out these videos. So we're good to go with that. Okay. The best action, okay, the best way to determine future action is to examine past actions. What does that mean? Okay. If you're inclined to go to the gym every day for 5 years, you're more likely to continue to go to the gym, for the foreseeable future. If you've never been to the gym in 5 years, it's very unlikely you're going to start today. What that means is you don't want to spend any money, you don't want to spend any effort on anything unless it's already to some extent been proven. So this is an example of this. Like I want to buy home service leads because we're discussing like what price, what niche, what everything. What you want to do is plug this in and the first question is, has someone else been selling leads and how much have they been selling them for? So I'm just going to use this as an example. Okay. Let's see. I want to buy home service leads. Just do a Google search on this. Okay. And what we want to look at is who is selling leads and how much. Now we know there's like Angie's List. There's like a ton of them now. Let's see.
Thumbtacks, the
Thumb,
home appointments, the
if you name it. And what I want to do is I want to um, buy leads for home services. Okay. So we've got a lead generation solution. We're going to immediately discard these people because when they've got like a 15 million person database, that means they've got a list of people they've scraped. That's how these cats do it. They scrape out the data. There's nothing wrong with it, but it is what it is. Okay. So what I want to look at, I'm just going to probably go to Thumbtack, by the way. Okay. Leads, home, and let's see what we do. Okay. I want to find out what the cost of leads are. Okay. I might just go to Thumbtack. Okay. Okay. Thumbtack leads vary. Well, that makes sense. Typically ranging from 20 to 150 per lead. I like that, depending on niche service jobs. Okay. What I'm going to do basically is start digging into this to find out what is my lead cost, I want to know what the price, how do you buy them? How do you receive them? You know, I want to see what these things cost. And the best thing to do is sit here and just kind of go through this. You know, what determines the cost of leads? Okay, open the app, check out max price. Another place is Yelp. You know, like buy leads from Angie's List. My gosh, Aliens List. It's Angie's List. I think she even changed her name, whatever. Oh my gosh. Guys, you'll have to excuse me.
ANGI.
It's one of those things. Okay, we're gonna pretend I put Angie's List in there. Um, let's go to the lead platform. You know, try to find out. And also, this is another site trying to pitch leads, but go in there and just figure out what the cost of that lead is. Because that's going to be your best value, determining how much the lead was, how much you're charging for it. Because if you do this and you go, Charles, I can't find like mortgage, plumbers, electricians, HVACs. I got a question for you. Eric, I'm gonna ask Eric and Steven because they're my age, I think. You know, we're all pretty young here. When I was young, or when I was younger, people saw like, did the plumbers and the electricians make that much money? 20 years ago?
I don't think so.
They didn't make anything. Like all the electricians I knew were like starving. They weren't making that much money. Okay. So let's play a game. How much do electricians make? There's a very young group of people who've come into this business. And guess what? They've done the same thing with plumbing. Guess what? I'm actually do plumbers. How much do plumbers make?
55, $60 an hour. It's nuts.
Okay. What's crazy about this is, and these are obviously poor plumbers. There's been a group of young people who've come in and they're making $60,000, $70,000 without a college education, doing manual labor. That's the thing, how much do plumbers make income? There's been, this is the thing, it's been a surge of young people who are said, you know what, like if I was studying to be an accountant, whatever. Like here's one. Like these guys, can plumbers make 100,000? Some of them make 60,000, 70,000 without a college education. And a lot of young people have gone into this business, and guess what they're doing? They're not settling for I'm making $16 an hour. They're settling. These plumbers are now beginning to charge a lot of money, and they're shifting things. Like watch this. Why are young people learning trades versus college? Okay, young people are increasingly choosing trades over traditional four-year college degrees. Lower cost to entry, blah, blah, blah. And the potential for high income careers. Now, that's the thing that I'm excited about. Because when I was in high school, when I graduated in 1990, the kids who went into plumbing, electrician, were the kids who didn't really have a lot of choice, who were just taking whatever they could find. So because of that, dude, home services are a pretty nice little business to be in. Now let's get back over here. Search Thumbtack, search Google, figure out what that lead cost is. Okay, does that make sense? You want to basically find who else is selling these. And that's going to be your word, like who is buying home service leads? That's your number one thing to do. Okay, dude, what's the next question?
Next question is, how do you determine where it makes sense to use Google to generate calls or leads?
Okay. I just finished a slide on that, dude. You will love that. I just finished a slide on that whole thing.
Because I can share a link for you that might help, I guess, everything here.
I
In
can
terms
tell
of,
I can tell you how
I
this.
just shared a link right here. So eLocal is a big player in the space.
Okay.
Uh, and on the link that I put in the chat, they have roughly the pricing for all the categories.
Sweet, sweet. And the thing is, and I'm gonna go back over here to like just the standpoint. Does it surprise you the cost of leads? I'm just asking. I don't know. I haven't looked at it yet. I haven't looked at it chat yet. But does it surprise you the cost of leads?
If I did the right research, it does in the major metro areas because there's obviously a ton of competition.
Mm-hmm.
But then that's where kind of the question comes in. It's like, well, how do you segment what's profitable, what's not profitable? Um, yeah, so
Competition.
you can get the top bid range. On the high end, that's what they'll pay per call, what the contractor pays. And now eLocal, because they're kind of a monopoly, they keep 50% um, of this pricing here.
Yes. And okay, I'm going to use this as an example here. So let me go back over to this. You're going to have like the lead broker itself. And the advantage that like a lot of lead brokers have, they already own the traffic. So do like a lot of these companies don't need to go out and buy the traffic, but you do. Like these guys will probably have like all tons of like content sites bringing those leads in, and you're competing against them, which is great. Which I like that. I like that a lot. But when you look at this is going to be the problem. As long as you're in a major metropolitan area, you can make these campaigns work if you have nothing else. Let me log into Google to show you nothing else to work other than like a dude. If you have nothing more, let's see. Let me go to. Let me switch. Give me one second. I need to switch account and log in. I don't really want to see you guys. Do not want to see me logging into an account, because that's like probably the most boring thing in the planet. Okay, so let me log in. So this is going to be the key. I like to choose major metropolitan areas because the minute you get out of that, every like if I go back to St. George and go, I need a plumber, guess what? You can ask that in Facebook, and 12 people, I'm serious, I'm not joking about this. 12 people will pop up. My Uncle Bubba with his truck can come by in about 30 minutes. You want him to come by? Uncle Bubba's been drunk all his life, you know? Like everybody knows somebody like that. That's one of the problems that real estate agents have. You know that? One of the problems that real estate agents have is everybody knows a real estate agent. Does that make sense? Like everybody. Like, let me share my screen again. Like, if you said, Charles, do you know a real estate agent? I know about 100 of them. Like, do you need one? Are any of them any good? I don't know. You know, it is what it is. I don't know. You know, so keep that in mind. So let's go back to desktop number 2. Okay, we're going to go look at a client's account. Okay, give me 1 second here. This is my wonderful method to arbitrage the daylights out of this stuff. You know what I like to go do? Bid on my competitor's name. I bid on the competitor's email, name, business name, address, phone number. If you can name it, guess what I'm going to do? We can just say it out loud. Charles is going to bid them. I like bidding on these things. So, dude, how much is a real estate lead? I mean, I'm just guessing. How much do you think a real estate lead costs? For a
150 bucks,
mortgage. For a mortgage. I need a mortgage. How much do you think a lead costs for a mortgage?
150, 200, easy.
Oh, dude, I'm hurting. I got a pain in my side. Okay, we're bidding on the competitor here. Cost per lead for conversions, $15.72. Let's just stop for a second and like and process this. When I first started with Barry, he goes, Charles, I want to bid on reverse mortgages, VA mortgages, FFA mortgages, conventional loans, 30-year loans, 50. If you name it, we were bidding on it. And guess what? I'm like, dude, we can't outbid a Rocket Mortgage. Just not going to happen. I can't outbid Rocket Mortgage, Quicken, insert any of the names of the competitors. But you know what I could do? I could bid on all the other people, competitors getting traffic. And we could like list of top competitors. I mean, you could dig through here and kind of see what's going on. But long story short here, most people are paid $15 per click in the mortgage business. I'm over here bidding on his competitor, getting clicks for $1 to $2. Sometimes it's a $3 click. Over here, it's expensive. Right? Oh, Rocket, right? Rocket. You know, over here it's expensive, but you can kind of see what happens with this stuff. Do you realize I'm paying, if you bid on the competitors' names in Google search, nobody else is bidding on the competitors' names. Very few other people are probably. And literally, we built this mortgage business by bidding on competitor names. Now, let's just let that sink in for a second. If I try to bid on the home services brand, you know what's going to happen? I'm going to get my tail kicked. I mean, I could do it. I would have to build a funnel that's probably better than somebody else. I could do that. But I can also bid on my competitors' names. And think about this. Imagine your competitors are getting traffic and they're buying all this traffic and building brand recognition. And you come in here and you're just siphoning that off. Does that make sense to anybody on here? And I'm gonna unmute.
Sure.
Alice, how's it going?
Me, Allie.
Allie, how's it going?
Hey, it's going well. So I had a quick question. So are you saying that even before bidding on the query, like on the search term that a user would do, you would go for the competitor?
Yes.
Would
Yes.
this work with like I just got a new client with an insurance agency. So I do a moving company and an insurance agency. I'm sort of still new to it.
I love insurance. I love moving.
Okay. That'll be interesting. Should I do that at a lower budget then?
Yes. And for the
Or-
movers, what you want to do is movers near me. And I'm not going to go into the client's account because it's still a little active. But we do another one where we got like Charleston movers near me. And then we also do every single major city in that Charleston area. And then I put movers in, then I start using zip codes, movers near me. So movers, now, and then we have like long distance movers. We've got short haul distance. We got same day and we got furniture movers. But does that make sense? And that is beautiful. By the way, that is beautiful. I love movers. The great thing is, nobody who's a mover. If I said, Allie, tell me 5 movers, you're like, and if you want in the moving business, you'd be like, Charles, I don't know. I didn't move since last year, 2 years, or 5 years ago. I don't know. Could be anybody. Everyone knows a realtor. Nobody knows a plumber, electrician, or a mover.
Yeah.
So yes, do exactly this. I'd also bid on like Mayflower. Are you doing long distance or same day moves or local moves?
So most of it has been local, but we're looking to outbid. But the problem is that a lot of people for long distance are looking for broker rates, which would be like Mayflower and everything like that. So we're more expensive than a Van Lines or something that's using a brokerage service. So that's one of the things is that we want to keep high quality leads.
Yes.
So I don't know if bidding on those would be worth it.
I would probably do it at a lower rate, but this is how we position our movers. Every other mover you hire is going to break your crap and they do not care. The fact that you've got your grandmother's china doesn't mean anything. And this is like part of the sales pitch. The fact you got grandma's china doesn't mean anything to them. They're going to pack it in the same styrofoam container, throw it in the same box, and they're going to throw it in there. When you get to your location and it's broken and non-fixable, they don't care. Have fun filing an insurance complaint against these guys. My guys will wrap everything up in a blanket like it's their baby. Like we use that pitch a lot, by the way.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I would do for movers, because the problem is most people don't know another mover. That's one of your challenges here. So you can't necessarily do what I'm doing here.
Yeah.
So I would do this as well, and I would also target their phone numbers. And then I would turn around, zip code, movers and zip code, city, zip, like city, like Charleston movers, North Charleston movers. And I've even done it down to the point where like broke down individual neighborhoods and subdivisions. Because a lot of people just move in like I call them like inner subdivision moves. They're moving up. They like the subdivision. The kids aren't changing schools. And literally we just create a massive amount of keywords for these things.
Okay.
But that's smart. I like that. I like it. Now for the insurance, are you doing like national insurance or like State Farm? Is it car insurance?
No, so it's an independent broker who's doing more coastal insurance. So I'm not too, if you're in Charleston, I'm not too far from you. I'm up in Wilmington, North
Guess
Carolina.
what? It's a small world. Okay, I'm actually in Charlotte.
Okay, you're in Charlotte. Okay.
Yes, I live in Charleston and come to Charlotte during the week. And Lauren is in Winston-Salem. I love Wilmington, by the way. Beautiful. I love the Outer Banks area. One day we'll have to have lunch, by the way. So like for local, okay, I've done the local insurance stuff. The challenge, okay, the advantage the local insurance guy has, he's local. He's the guy, and we always tell, I'm the guy you see at the grocery store. Something happens, have fun calling, this 800 number to be on the phone for 3 hours for somebody to say, oh, you got the wrong department or you didn't sign the right form. Like have fun contacting those people. And as your local insurance agent, I can probably help you with, you're rolling a referral 1Ks. I don't know what they do, but I'm just, there's a lot that they can kind of do if that makes sense. So is it an independent local insurance for like health, life, the usual suspects?
So they do auto, life, homeowners insurance, and flood and wind and hail would be the big ones that we want since we're on the coast.
Perfect. Okay. For that, I would go bid against State Farm, National, Progressive, the normal stuff right there.
Okay.
I would do that in a heartbeat because there's already awareness of who that market is, like you're competing against it. Because if you said, Charles, this is realtors, like I can name 5 of them. But hail damage, and you're probably getting into your busy season now because now we're in hurricane season.
Yeah.
And everyone needs one. For those of you who don't know, the people who, like me, who live in Charleston area, and for her, we have this wonderful burden called hurricanes that come barreling through like 160 mile an hour, will basically flatten everything up. And if you don't have specific insurance for it, you're not covered. And you're in what, A and V flood zones, I guess.
Yeah, so flood zones would differ, right? And then did your house flood from rain coming through a window? Did it flood from it rising on the ground?
Yes.
There's all kind of loophole, like there's all kind of stuff.
Believe me, the insurance industry has more waivers than anything else. It's an act of God. I'm sorry, the meteorite hit your house. It was an act of God. Like it truly falls into those categories. And that's where it's fun to be able to target those people because you could target, flood, insurance, flood zone V, A flood. V is velocity. That means your front beach, you're having waves come through the house on the bottom of it. A just means the water rises up slowly and gently, and you're not actually getting hit by it. That's a huge market. So are you licensed for, or your client is licensed in North Carolina or South Carolina or just North Carolina or multiple?
North Carolina.
Okay. Good. The key to making this work, and your landing page is going to be the key for this, by the way. Because it's easy to go bid on these terms. I've bid on competitors, variations. I'm, like flood insurance, zip code, flood insurance, Charleston. Like they're all kind of ways you can slice and dice it. And the challenge you're going to have is a lot of these keywords will not get a lot of search volume. It just kind of is what it is. They're just not going to get a lot of search volume. But that's okay because you just want it to show when it shows, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You just build out a few hundred of these things, but your landing page is going to be the key to make this happen. So what kind of landing page do you currently have? Please don't tell me it's their website. Please don't tell me it's their website.
So I'm actually taking this client over, and currently right now it's literally a form. Um, it's just literally a form to fill out. There's no information, there's no personality, there's no leading through progression. Like there isn't anything
Okay.
other than, hey, you need flood insurance. Here's a form. And it's not even specific to wind and hail or whatever they're running the ads for. It's a general form that they've slapped on
Oh, have you ever seen the movie Lilo and Stitch, by the way?
a while ago.
Okay. I use this quote a lot. He steals the tricycle. He borrows a tricycle, runs to the top of the Hawaii, looks over, it's surrounded by water. He falls off like, ah. The form is like that. I'm like, ah, oh, I'm in pain. Okay. The way we did it with Barry is we used Unbounce, by the way. You could use any page builder you want, it doesn't make a difference. But we used something called Unbounce. And we basically used a template they had. And the header of the page was like conventional mortgage loans. Another page said VA. Like every page, we had a master page, and then we cloned it for every specific scenario, and then we updated the images for those specific scenarios.
Okay, so each insurance essentially, which is what I was thinking, has its own landing page specific to that, which is what I was
Yes.
thinking of doing anyway.
Yes.
Um,
Because otherwise, Google looks at the okay. So I'm gonna just go into here. Let's just do this. So we're gonna go in
you're
here.
saying because Google the ad quality score, right?
Yes. so if you I'm gonna use like lending companies, Team Hawkberg, whatever, makes no difference. If you land on a page, and let's say the page is about wind and hail damage, and your landing page is talking about blue flowers and great skies, even though you have a form on it, Google, because there's a disconnect. The more you can align your ads specifically with the page, the higher that quality score goes.
Okay, I have one more quick question because I don't want to.
Absolutely. No. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
But going back to the moving company, if I wanted to target up north, people moving down south, and we have a general local ad that's doing pretty well, but he's budget conscious. I paused it and then I unpaused it. Is it bad to pause it, or should I just put it on a really low budget?
It doesn't. Okay. Did the ad work? Okay. This is
It
one
was
thing
bringing in leads, but they weren't. They brought in good leads, but they
okay.
lost due to bidding. So it wasn't my fault. I brought the
Okay.
lead in. They lost
Okay.
due to being overpriced.
Okay. Okay. So that's good. Is there a central look? Okay, by the way, in case you don't know this, there's this wonderful guide that will tell you where people are moving from. Like most people right now, South Carolina and North Carolina are having the most people move into it than anywhere else. Like Greenville, Charleston, Columbia are having huge influx of new people. But where are most of your people moving from?
Connecticut, New York, Long Island.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense because the cost of
Greenwich.
people, yes,
Property
people,
taxes.
right. They're not moving from nothing against West Virginia. My brother-in-law lives in West Virginia. It's a great, beautiful place, beautiful. But people don't generally move from low cost of living to high cost of living. It just doesn't. I mean, it does when they're moving for a job, but they generally don't move there. They generally go from high cost of living to lower cost of living. The problem that you're going to have is you almost have to, I would use like an exact keyword, like literally New York to North Carolina move. Like you could like nail that. But those are going to go like interstate moves. And the problem is like, you have to then send a truck there to get it and bring it back, which means your price is going to be higher.
No, there's no difference.
Okay,
If we were taking someone up there,
okay,
it would be the same price. So it's the same price to go get them. And I was thinking of having that in because you think that I was thinking of putting that in the ad, like no additional cost to come get you.
Right. I think that would be a huge win because like the guys that I've worked with before, they go, man, my truck's on the road for like 3 days to go somewhere and then come back. That ties up a truck. How many trucks are these guys running?
A lot.
Good. I love to hear this.
I mean,
One
not
thing
hundreds yet, but I mean, they're
they're
over.
moving. They're
Yeah.
moving. They're moving. That's exciting. Um, I would probably look at doing that. And like if you're losing by price, and this is the thing, if you're losing by price, who won that auction, by the way? Was like a Mayflower or like 2 men in a truck or 3 men in a
Yeah, we
truck?
were getting a lot of apartment leads. And so I'm trying, like what you're talking about here is really interesting because I'm trying to get away from that, you know. And I know there's only so much we can do. Like the guy that's trying to sell leads, there's only so much we could do, right?
Right.
And that's probably me understanding my job is just to bring in the leads and whatever happens on the back end. I think Joe, like, I don't know if this is similar to what Joe is going to end up facing with selling leads, but you
For
know.
sure. Spot on.
And one thing for the apartment leads is have you negative about apartments? Because like most movers, okay, I'll use the example. I'm gonna use this is a Charles example, for better or for worse. It's a Charles example. I lived in Ballantyne, which is in Charlotte. I moved closer to Allen. I had an apartment because I live in Charleston. Like, so literally, like only you know what I did? I packed up I put everything in the back of a Kia Soul because like I don't care. Like I literally sold everything. I wasn't gonna deal with moving this crap. Came here and just got new stuff. The problem with the apartment stuff is they're not usually big moves, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
But they take up time. So what they do
Yes.
to sort of weed out apartments is a 3-hour minimum. But when it goes into like running the ads for it, are you saying to block it out in the audience? So like homeowners only and block out apartment renters and any kind of renters?
Yes.
Really?
And I would even throw apartments in as negative keywords. One of the great things about the negative keywords is we think if they don't use the word apartment, like it just blocks the word apartment. Google actually looks at the keyword in the context to figure out, well, she doesn't want apartments. So therefore, let's try like, it's kind of adds an additional layer of filtering.
Okay, that's helpful.
But the problem is like there are way more people moving apartments than
I know,
homes.
and I did talk to him about that. And the last thing that I had too with that is, as we need to restructure because he doesn't have a link, it's going to the homepage. So if we were to build out specific homepages from like New York, Connecticut, like for each individual state, should I pause it in that scenario and then just sort of restart all of his campaigns from scratch?
I would probably just keep the ones that are running. And once I would test like a New York campaign first, just test that first because the key is you actually have to have proof of concept that it's even working to begin with.
Okay.
You know,
On the current one, just negative out the apartments and everything like that and let it keep running. Okay.
Exactly.
Cool.
And I'm going to try to show you something if I can get it to load. And I can't get it loaded. Hold on 1 second. I was actually going to show you the landing page in Unbounce, but it is not going to load. Give me 1 second. I'm going to try to see if I can see it one more time. No, I'm going to give up. Okay, I'm giving up on that. But yeah, I think that's going to be the key.
Do you ever run Google ads when it doesn't go to a landing page where it's just a click to call?
Yeah.
Or does it always have to go to a landing page?
No, I like call me right now.
We have a call option in the ad. So we pretty much decked out we're running local service ads, but we're also doing, we filled out everything, all the snippet features that you could do on Google. So we have like the call button there. We have some specific pages there. So
Ellie, is your client like an established company with like a reputation of brand awareness, et cetera, or are they kind of just like a small player trying to compete with the big guys?
no, they're probably one of the top 3 independent movers.
They're
Okay.
going to crush the competition with Google.
Yeah, so there's some long-standing movers here that have more of the expensive neighborhoods, and we're trying to get into more of the. So there's a lot of work we have to do. We have to change his brand perception a little bit to get more expensive, like the more bougie moms and wives and stuff like that. But they're established.
I
Like
can help you on that. Get a load of this. Okay.
so,
Have y'all heard of Kiowa, South Carolina?
no.
Okay, let's see. Let me share my screen for you. Okay, so okay, I'm going to give you great education. And by the way, Outer Banks are absolutely beautiful. Love them. Let's talk about Kiowa. We had a client that wanted to get into Kiowa. Now, quick question. What do you think is the average home cost in Kiowa? Charles, I wouldn't know. Okay. Condos, like you can get into the condos, getting into it, not nice one, but getting into the older ones, probably 1.2 million, you know. I had a client who was a mover who goes, Charles, if I could get into Kiowa, it would be the greatest thing on the planet. You know, I'm like, okay, that's cool. Guess what? Would y'all like to guess the problem they have?
No
Allie's
news.
Allie's
They didn't look. They didn't have the look.
Didn't
No
have
one
the
sell it.
okay. So like I'm going to use this and I'm going to click on this. This is a average Kiowa house. This is not like something special. This is like an average Kiowa house. Client's a mover. We're getting leads. So I'm getting the leads and I'm bringing it back to my landing page. I have a good looking landing page. People are booking on the landing page. I'm happy. Client can't close them worth of crap. And he's like really upset, not at me. But he's like, why come I can't close these people, if that makes sense?
Mhm.
And basically it's like, well, dude, and this is something where Allie, you can really, really shine with a client. Marketing automation is what saved this dude's entire business. Because one of the things I'm going to use this as an example, people who have gotten the wealth, who've accumulated the wealth to live in these type of places, they generally make very fast, informed decisions.
Mm.
I mean, they make a decision. When they make a decision, they can also change their mind very quick. But one of the problems we had was they picked up the phone. How's it going? You moving? I mean, it was just a bad user experience. I know you probably don't have it quite that bad. This dude was a guy with a truck with a couple guys, if that makes sense. We literally had to redo the friggin' website because this was one of the problems we ran into was when they visited, and this is something that we found out later, when they visited the site, by the way, put clarity on the site, they visited the site and the site was a little on the jinky side. I'm not saying that anyone has got a jinky website, but they would see the website and they would decide not to basically move forward. It didn't just because on the website, we were talking about moving, and on the what they showed on the website? All the website had was like little, like they call them track homes. There's nothing wrong with it, but they're called track homes. And one of the problems we had was, you may be great for moving a track home that's $100,000 home. I probably have $100,000 sofa. And we had to really redo the images. We literally had to go get stock images of very nice houses and put on the website. And we literally had to have like a special page to say Kiowa, Hilton Head, and Seabrook, and the Outer Islands. And then when you landed on this, we had like stock images of houses. We never moved these houses, by the way, never.
See, what's interesting is I have a real estate media company and I photograph all the expensive listings. Well, my team does.
And see, it makes sense because like once you see these type of houses, you're like, oh, well, of course they moved Janet's house. That's she's on the front beach or something. It's really interesting. It took having that look to make it work. And I'm going to tell you something that was dirty. I didn't do it. So just keep this in mind. It's dirty. I didn't do it, but it did work. A friend of theirs is a real estate agent. A friend of theirs got them a home showing. The dude pulls up in his moving truck. Him and his three guys jump out. Photographers are taking pictures. They didn't steal anything. They just took pictures like they were walking in and, opening the truck and doing that. That was huge for them because people could believe that they actually did stuff.
Nice.
So literally they had like two trucks, like literally, how they park them in like a V shape. I'm like, dude, I wouldn't have done it, but it's brilliant. But that's what you want to do. Basically, you have to do that. Then you need marketing automation because the minute they call these guys, if they don't get a text message, an email, like literally we had to have stuff fire out immediately. Because I'm just saying, I'm just going to use this as an example. People can forget they made a phone call, but when you send them a text message and the text message was, hey, thank you for the call. Love to touch bases. Click here. If we're to connect with us, blah, blah, blah. And it took them to a great looking website, beautiful forms, everything. That makes a difference.
Okay. So
to get the upscale homes, what I'm saying is get a home showing and park your trucks. I'm joking. I shouldn't say that. But you get the point.
But show that you do it.
Yes. I mean, well, think about this. If on the website we had these stock photos which look good, but did it really show that we were moving stuff?
Yeah.
It didn't. But when you park your trucks in the front like a V, the moving truck and all the guys standing up front, it didn't hurt anybody,
So I have a question on that. I know Dominic's got his hand up. So Dominic, you can go before me touching on that. Unless Ellie had some more
Yeah.
questions.
No, I'm good.
How would you apply this to landscapers and landscaping?
Oh, that's my other client. Good question.
Oh, this is even better yet. Okay, so landscapers are slightly different animal. They fall into the realm of movers. Generally, we do not know a lot. I mean, I can't, other than the dude who does my house, I don't know any landscapers. So the way that we've done it before, and I've actually done this with landscapers, I've done a lot in Kiowa, by the way, is literally landscaping, landscaper. We did also like arborist, shrubs cutting. The way the client did it, which I thought was brilliant, the first grass cutting or the first landscaping was half price. And the dude, I mean, this was okay. I want you to think through this. Other people have told a story similar to this, so this is work for other people as well. But literally, the problem like with landscapers, once you get a landscaper, you do not change landscapers. The dude who does your lawn is going to be the dude doing your lawn to probably until he does bad, if that makes sense. And the way that we've done that is basically we've zip code like 29477 landscaping, like a city like Charleston landscaping, subdivision landscaping. We literally use all those keywords you can find, and then we offer a 50% off price. Now, I've got a quick question for you. Are you going to turn down a 50% off your first landscaping cut? No.
No.
And I'm going to use this. Let's go to Kiowa Landscaping. For many of you who don't know, I used to be a home designer. I love designing homes. There's no money in it. Okay. So we worked with the greenery before. Okay, I'm going to do this. And then you always have Yelp. One of the things that really, really, really hurts the landscaping business is you need instant credibility. Now, my keyword was Kiowa Landscaping. Guess what? Kiowa Island. Like if this is like the entrance into Kiowa, so you know what it looks like. And then I don't know I know these guys did it, but like, is there any proof that they did this? This could be a stock photo for all I know. This might not even be Kiowa. Might not even be, I mean, it is, but the reality of this, the way that you do this is you have to have trust. Now I'm gonna go to this other page. Remember, we opened up 2 ads. I think, or not 2 ads, but 2 pages. Kiowa Island Landscape, native and deer. Okay, let's go over here. Receive 10% off your garden center. I got a question. Does anybody want to read this?
No.
There's nothing wrong with it. It's a nice article about deer. And deer are problem. There's certainly a problem. At least where we live, they're all over the place. Guess what? Which one of these 2, if you're typing landscaping, some information article, I'm up here going, I don't want to read this crap. Or Kiowa. A lot of this is dependent on the client's ability to recognize things instantly. Now, over here, if you notice, these are called breadcrumbs. I don't know why they got them in gray. I would not have them in gray, but they got them in gray. Guess what? If you type in location, and I'm willing to bet there will be a page here with what? Locations. So Mount Pleasant, Kiowa, Hilton Head, Charleston. Okay, let's just kind of look at that. Savannah. Man, these guys have expanded. You're going to see a Mount. This is what Mount Pleasant looks like. A lot of ponds, a lot of houses. Kiowa Island. Guess what? Hilton Head is famous for a lighthouse because there's a major golf tournament. A lot of high-end, very, very wealthy people live there. But if you notice, you're landing on a page that's, oh, there's an iconic Hilton Head lighthouse. For all I know, they just drove out there and took the picture, and maybe their internal team does this. I don't know. But what I am saying is when I look at this, I'm like, oh, yeah, these guys, it's something that you can recognize. That's what Charleston looks like. Everyone in Charleston knows exactly where this is at. And that's going to be the key. You recognize where it's at. Savannah Quarters. Guess what? You recognize it. Does that make sense? You have to have a landing page that you can't wait for the person to read. You have to scream the location at them. And that is why this right here, look at this. They got service here. They got Kiowa. Book a design. Okay, this is also a slightly different scenario. But like, I don't care about the deer and the eating the flowers. Seabrook Island Design and Installation. Okay, do y'all know what Seabrook is? Seabrook is the ghetto to Kiowa. We always say the billionaires are in Kiowa, the millionaires are in Seabrook. That's an internal joke locally that we talk about. But if I land on this, could this page, this is the question to ask. Could you mistake this page, or could I take this page and put it on any other website that's completely generic? Yes, that's not a good page. To me, this is a completely generic thing. This could be any house in the world. And always put your video up top. Always put your video up top. Okay. So the key to making landscaping work, guys, is the landing page more than the keywords. Because anytime anyone else can bid on the exact same keyword, say the exact same thing, which is in a lot of cases, it takes the landing page to get it and lift it up, if that makes sense. Okay, I'm gonna go to Joe.
Real quick, would you then run the Google Ads? Because I know we were chatting in Discord. Would you run it with a phone number, a Google form, or straight to a landing page?
I would give you the choice of doing everything. Because there's some people who will basically, if you have something that's clickable, some people will call, some people will go to the land page, and some people actually fill out the form and start having a SMS message with you. Give them everything.
Yeah, and I think it depends. So someone like me and a lot of my clientels, in these expensive markets, we're really sort of vain in a way. We want to see what it looks like. So we're not going to call you because that's more committal before we see that you can design like us, that the kind of grass you cut. Like if you cut grass at a little rinky-dink place where it's all patches, or if you cut beautiful lawns. If you can show me the difference between a lawn that was patchy and a lawn that's beautiful now and tie it back to you. So it just depends on your audience. I think in this case, are they going to be more visually driven, or are they practical? Like older people are like, I just want to talk to someone and get the lowest price, right? So what's their motivator, I guess, would be something that I'm interested in, because this is also where we're getting a social media for our landscaping client. It looks very generic and nobody's going to really engage with it like we do other funny videos. But when we're looking, it is part of our judgment criteria.
One thing, keep this in mind. If I'm in higher in place, like this, I'm just using examples just because this is kind of what we've been talking about. I'm not going to say yes to anything on a friggin' phone call. Just not going to happen. Like letting you into my yard, letting you into my deck, I want to see this. I want to see some references. I want to see what you're doing. Like, I just want to see, like, are you doing houses like mine? Or maybe you're doing houses unlike mine. I don't know. That's the key. Also, a big factor in this, if you're dealing with someone who's price sensitive, they don't care. They don't care. They wouldn't care if you pulled up with a push lawnmower, cranked it up, and a weed eater. They wouldn't care because it's price sensitive users. And a lot of times, lower income or middle income will be price sensitive because, so it depends on the neighborhood and it depends on who you're going after. And that's a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah, this guy's running after middle to high income because he's charging at least 2-3K for like installation and design. Would you still run like 50% off first? Because many times with those, they'll do the
If
design
it's just cutting grass. Now, if it's cutting grass, we'll do that because it's a repeatable. You're coming back once we cut your grass. You're coming back forever.
yeah.
But for design, because I used to design in AutoCAD, we did work for an engineering company. We did homes, landscaping, we did everything. Don't do that because you only need one landscape design plan. You only need one landscape installation.
Yeah.
So for that, we don't, like this free consultation, get a quote. When it comes to design, they want to see past examples of what you've done. So my wife decides we need to hire a landscaper because I don't care. I'd paint the yard green if I could. I would cement it green, put some AstroTurf out there, and I would be as happy as you can imagine. Wife decides that's not a good idea. I would never do that anyway. We went through a number of landscapers. You know what? Some landscaper dude shows up with a big picture book of all the landscaping projects he's done. Dude, I don't know if those are real or not. I mean, he did a great job for me, but it would have made no difference otherwise to me. If you're doing something like design or installation, you really need testimonials, you need proof, you need pictures. You need lots of them. And when you show up with that, because remember, you and me are probably spatial. We can imagine something and it's great. Average user, they can't see it, they can't imagine it, whatever. And that's a big, big deal. Let's go images. I mean, dude, like honestly, if a landscaper like stole these images, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't. I really, I just don't know. But it takes a lot of proof for that. I'm gonna ask Joe to unmute, then go to Steven.
Yeah, so question on the branded keywords, kind of going back to that part of the question. When I feel like I've had people that have done that, like different publishers, but then people call and like for the moving example, they want to talk to like Mayweather or whoever, but it's like no, this is like a different company. Like, oh, sorry, I don't know why I got a hold of you guys. Is that just part of the sales process at that point?
It's like, hey, we want to get a hold of Mayweather. Hey, this is Charles. Where do you want to move? I didn't tell you that I'm not Mayweather. I'm gonna go through this whole process, and at the end when I've given you the quote, we have talked. Yeah, by the way, we're an independent company. We generally beat Mayweather, Mayflower, and all their stuff. Blah blah blah. I'm not. Once I get you on the phone, I'm not letting you off. And if this is what happens, users will fill out 5 or 6 friggin' forms, click a bunch of buttons. When you get them on the phone, you cannot let them off. I learned this from Barry. When he had a mortgage lead on the phone, if they got a call, he's like, oh, he goes, just call him back. Because if they said, hey, Barry, could you hold on while I take this call? No, that other call is a mortgage broker, and they're going to be talking to some other dude. You get them on the phone, and you do not let them off.
Okay. And the course that you're making, that's going to cover like start to finish, how to run Google Ads, how to make it work, everything.
Yes.
God, click
It's
that
good.
render button, baby. Get that thing going. I'm itching for this, Charles. So that's
Dude,
awesome.
I got to get this thing rendered out for sure. Let me unmute Steven. How's it going, dude?
Going well, brother. Going well. Something to consider, especially with Google, but it works on every platform with cold traffic like this. As Charles just said, most people coming to your pages don't have the ability to take the text that you're using, if they're text heavy kind of pages, and interpret that in a way that it's your advantage, no matter how vivid you make it, because that extra cognitive friction Even if we weren't in an attention drought, it doesn't work. And here's why. They're experiencing the text in isolation as opposed to related to something else. And with what he was just saying about the landing pages, two things. Number one, people only can have a feeling about something they see that they're shown if there's a pre-existing emotion. The way that Google search works, it's built in like that because those results aren't going to come up just at random. It's because they're typing something with intent. So if they're looking at Kiowa Island landscaping, they've already got something in their mind on what they may want to see that pops up. And so and the page then can only work if it's a relatable enough piece of architecture or landscaping or situation that they have experience with, because landscaping for a neighborhood entrance is different than their home. And it has to be aspirational to give them an idea of, okay, I can see this is kind of a house like ours. Now I can see where we can take that. Because that's the prerequisite for those Google searches is their intent. So if you show them that, you're showing them not what's possible, but what they can look like, so to speak. It's similar to like a hairstylist that would use like a piece of software or something to take your picture and then show you what you would look like differently with different hair versus just somebody with different hair. It's a very different experience, but they have to have that pre-existing emotion. That's the only way that it works, because those visuals on that page serve as what's called a visual metaphor for their future possibility, and they're using that to move themselves forward. It's the same mechanism like when we watch a movie and it's scary and we don't know that something's scary, but we start hearing the scary music. It's only because we have experience with that works. So when you have these pop-ups on the page with the visuals on the page where you want them to get to book or get them to book a call like that, if you show them not here's all of our super best highlight reel stuff, but here's the relatable thing that you have and how we've made all those better. There's our portfolio right there. If this is what you want, call, because your intent search, that's what they're really going for. It's similar to how people shop on Amazon. You don't go to Amazon with just browsing. You already came to an opinion on something you might want to buy to solve a problem, and then you click onto the platform and type that search phrase in, and the pieces pop up. Very, very similar.
I'm going to show you. I'm going to continue what Steven said. I see this house, and it says native low maintenance landscaping design. I like that. I don't want high maintenance. I like low maintenance. This is a house that would be at Kiowa. I visited. I can't say the word that I would like to say, but you can probably imagine what I'm about to say. What happened here?
Also, Kevin did an entire call on add to lander congruency that plays into this. That's very, very worth seeing. It was like 2 weeks ago, but it's exactly what he's talking about. So Joe, if you're trying to figure all that out, it's a good one to see, because it will kind of be the mortar in between Charles's bricks right here. It will tie it all together for you.
Because this is huge. Because I mean, just imagine me and Steven are sitting here going like, dude, we need a landscaper. Okay. We're going to have a landscaper come to our office and like, this landscaping looks great. I like this landscaping. I want to do this landscaping. And I get a picture of the sun going through the beach with small fonts. Scenes like the sunset over Kiowa are the inspiration for what in somebody's been drinking the Kool-Aid. The consumers don't care what your inspirations are. In fact, I'm looking at this going, man, they had some Kool-Aid and some Jack Daniels going on. Like, the headline is like non-existent. I've seen tons of palm fronds in my life. I'm not even interested in that. Show me okay, now we're getting to the bread and the butter. The problem, and I see this so many times, put the sexiest thing you got up front, put it up here, use a headline, and you can say, but Charles, this is a blog post. Okay, I could argue that. But like any of these would have been better. You know, great. By the way, can you even read the 5-star review on this? All I see is a Google My Business 5-star review. Follow said, me and my husband decided that, we were going to go out and have a meal, and we had a meal, and it's the best steak I ever had. It's so little you can't read it. It's not formatted correctly. And that's the problem. Me as a user, you know what I'm gonna do? I don't care how good they are, I'm gonna bounce. And that's the thing that I'm gonna stress. Like I always tell people, if you have a great website, it makes me a better media buyer. If you have a crappy website cannot fix a good media buyer. A good media buyer can't fix a bad website. Literally, it just doesn't work. I'm gonna mute Stephen here. Then I go to Joe.
I dropped it in the comments, but I'm sure you've read Steve Krug's book, Don't Make Me Think,
Yes.
on
Excellent
how to
book.
not commit those atrocities on your website.
Guys,
The short version is, if we go to the grocery store and we see the signs over our heads to give us a map on where to go, it's very easy to understand. Then you can do that on your landing pages and websites and incorporate a lot of everything that Charles is saying without having to remember it and overthink it. It's a good one to have on hand.
It is huge. Okay, I'm going to use it. I'm going to show you this. This is the deal. And guys, I'm telling you the truth. Don't be mad at me. Don't even shoot the messenger. I'm just saying. A lot of what makes media buying work is a landing page. A lot of what makes it work. And I'm going to show you just an example of this. Landscape design and build. Kiowa. Okay, I mean, I'm curious. I like this. This is, older home at Kiowa, but looks neat. I could dig this. I have a header here, which could be any house. I have a zoomed in picture of some flowers and a frog. I've got giant bold text, which makes it difficult to read. I've got 3 or 4 different size text on here. Request a quote. As a media buyer, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have expensive CACs. I'm going to have pages that don't work, and it's going to be problematic. And I'm going to get blamed when it doesn't work.
It's amazing how many bad pages there are. So did you redo landing pages? Did you offer that as a service, or did you partner with someone?
I did it in Unbounce. Okay, for those of you who don't know, this is going to be like a lot of extra money for you. This is like free money. I want to find landing pages. Actually, I want to find templates. Okay. And I'm going to find a template for lead generation. And we can even go further. I'm going to just pick home service. Okay. What I find is clients have websites that utterly suck. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean in a constructive criticism way. I would be bankrupt. They would be bankrupt if it depended on the websites. And what I found is, like, when you can I'm going to use this as a template here. Whenever you find something, like when you're looking at these things, this is the one I used, by the way. When you use something, this is obviously desktop. So keep that in mind. Do you realize, even something as basic as this will beat the pants off everything else? Because I can control this on the website. Clients, because I'm gonna just ask a bad question. Have you ever seen a bad website?
She's like, oh yeah.
And these bad websites work because people are, local, or still getting business, locally. Like the website is not the conversion mechanism that people say yes to. They're saying yes because Bob's been in the neighborhood for 50 years. Everyone knows him. He's selling insurance. He's a good old dude. You can trust him. And that's the thing about it. And that same thing with Barry. Barry's website. I'm going to show you Barry's website. Now, when you see this website, please try not to laugh. I hope your bladder is empty. Do you think, I'm just asking, you remember we had like those $15 leads? Do you think they would convert on this page?
Heck no.
And I'm telling Barry, dude, I gotta use Unbounce. Like there's no place on the planet that this is going to work. Just none. So we had to have landing pages on Unbounce. And basically we just changed them up for, for each individual thing. But the key is I don't have to touch the client's website. I could put a subdomain in it, for like go or call or something, and basically take Unbounce and load it into that. And I'm just telling you, like, this is the cat's meow. Obviously, this is an older page. I mean, it's definitely an older page. But this is the key. When you're doing stuff like this, if you don't control the landing page, it's a fast way to get fired, to overpay for leads, and just have a bad day. I'm just being honest with you. It's just bad. Here you click this form, by the way, and you create the pop-up, go into the forms. Use something like this and don't use ClickFunnels. I have nothing against ClickFunnels, but you know who ClickFunnels is designed for? Marketers. You know who loves ClickFunnels? I love ClickFunnels. But the minute you get out to the normal world and they see things, buttons that shake do not attract normal people, if that makes sense. If you show me a button that shakes and grooves and boogies, I'm going to run the other way, and that's the key. So let me unmute Steven, then I'm going to go to Joe. How's it going, dude?
Hey, brother. I posted it in the chat. Unbounce every year does they re-up their best of category examples, and oftentimes they have a lookbook. I have the e-commerce landing page lookbook that they've done. Also, and I posted this a while back in the forums, and I sent this to you on DM as well a while back. The Google internal partner playbooks.
Yes.
Of best practices. They have one for lead generation. I'm going to drop a link in the chat, of course, but I've already dropped it in the forums. That way, like, this is Google's own, this is our best user experience things that we've seen for the highest converting sites in our listings. So I'll make sure that everybody has that as well, for everybody trying to do all of this too.
It's huge. And dude, you just dropped gold nuggets here. I'm gonna throw this on the Google Doc. The reality of it is, and I'm not being mean when I say these things, and some people may think I am, if your landing page sucks, if your website sucks. Okay, so even if I fill out the form on the landing page, I'm going to Google you. And when I Google you and I see this horrid website, it's hard to have confidence in someone. And I'm just making this as a blanket statement. It's a blanket statement. We live in a world where trust is difficult. Everything is instant. Everything is AI. And even before the AI, a lot of this stuff, we as users, we don't even know who to believe in. And if you go to a website and the website is bad, it makes it very, very, very difficult to say, I want to do business with you if you have a website that doesn't look good. So guys, keep that in mind. You have to have it looking good. Let me unmute Joe.
Awesome stuff, Steven. Thank you. All right, two-part question. How does the landing page differ from emergency versus option choices? What I mean by that is landscaping, you have multiple options.
Right.
Emergency, plumber, basements flooding, et cetera, et cetera. And then the second part to that question is for reference, right? So I own Chicagoland Home Services.
Mhm.
We don't have any online brand presence, nor am I active with it. But how can I now compete with companies that have been in the online, like Google space, that spend hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars with ads on Google, and compete with them out the gate? Is that just bidding higher and paying more? Is that Google's algorithm kind of giving everyone a fair shot? How does that work in that
Okay.
sense?
Dude, I'll show you this. Okay, let's go back to Charlotte. HVAC. And this is a good one. There's a guy, and I can't think of his name. He will come out to your plumbing. Like if you have a plumbing emergency, this dude will come out no matter what. I'm trying to find the name of it, which probably Travis Crawford. Travis Crawford. That's it. Okay, watch this. Travis Crawford will come out no matter what time it is and charge you the same amount of money as everybody else. He's got a better offer, if that makes sense. And I want you to think through that for a second. He can't beat like some of these other companies. You probably just can't beat all these guys. But guess what? He has a better offer. Instant. And by the way, if your AC dies, and when I live in the South, and when the AC dies, there is no going to get a quote on it. It's the first person who can come out and fix it, if that makes sense. But these guys advertise on radio nonstop. And their thing is they'll come out any time of the day, and they're not going to charge you more for a midnight call than will for an 8 a.m. call. Now, granted, that gets into, the business of who these people are. But from the same token, this guy competes extremely well in the Charlotte market. I mean, I see his trucks nonstop. I mean, nonstop. And I think that's kind of the key here. When it comes down to this, if it needs to be fixed now, take them to, and this is interesting, like, instant HVAC quote. If it's an emergency, I would use a landing page that said, if it's an emergency, click to call us now, if that makes sense.
The same process, just a different outline on the landing page.
Yeah, basically, click to call us now. I'm just making this up.
Right.
No extra charge, no matter when I show up, no matter the time. Now, see, this goes into something that's a business decision, and these guys may not want to do that. But, dude, Travis Crawford's got all these radio advertisements where he tells you about his family. His dad started the business. The technicians are apparently, he swears his technicians are better certified than anybody else. I mean, and and I don't know, maybe this is all BS. I got no clue. I just know that I keep hearing this guy on the radio nonstop. Maybe he's good, maybe he's bad.
Does your course touch on the differences with Google Ads, like Google Ads, the LSA, all that?
Yeah, yeah, it's deep. So, and that's the thing about it. Like Gillis, the dude's got 1,800 4.9 reviews. I'm just asking. That's impressive. Like, that's impressive.
Charles, did you say you had campaigns in the past with home services? Are you still active in those campaigns, or you said you moved on?
Oh no, I still run those things. I like free money. I like easy money. And the thing is, this is the cool thing about this. It doesn't make a difference what I say. I'm going to be competing against 20 other people who probably are just as good as Travis Crawford, whoever. Makes no difference. It makes no difference. What makes a difference is, what does the ad say? What does the landing page say? That's the thing that separates all this that people just don't get. There's probably 100 HVAC dudes and, get a load of this. Google guaranteed, get it done or Google pays you back. Badge of confidence. You see the Google guarantee badge on both the ad and the result, including premium profiles. Google guaranteed businesses pass certain checks. Their services come with money-back guarantees up to $2,000. Guys, I mean, do you realize that's how well?
LSA.
Yes,
right?
Yes. And I'm gonna tell you, like, if I see somebody, if Google says they guarantee it, you know what happens? Do it. I mean, like, don't you feel? Would you rather Google guarantees it, or would you rather no guarantee? And that's the thing about this. A lot, oftentimes we as marketers think it comes down to like the ad and the keyword and is it maximize clicks, maximize conversions, value conversion, TCPA, value, I mean, any number of bidding strategies. It comes down to this right here. What's your landing page say? What does the ad say? What do the and this is the key. What does the Google review say? And Stephen touched on this last week with with the knowledge panel. If you don't have that set up, do you realize most everything else is kind of a waste of time? Because you know what's going to happen? Charlotte HIVAC, maintenance, guess what? There are like 300 people to choose from. Like, and honestly, like, why would I choose Prime Comfort? I'm just going to click on Prime Comfort. I'm sure they're nice people. You know, but if you're sitting here scrolling through at 2 o'clock in the morning, the AC's off, it's 100 degrees still outside, you're going to call the people that can get to you the soonest. Hours, anytime, open 24 hours. You know what? That's the key. A lot of Google success depends on this. Typically replies in 15 minutes, typically replies in a few minutes. Okay, I'm going to call Dad. My AC's dead. Now, Dad might come out and say, Charles, it's a week before I can get you. Okay. But you know what? I'm still going to call some hands. But like literally, this is what you're looking for. 65 bookings, pass a license check, pass a background check, has business insurance. He's like group 4 mechanical contractor. Do you realize a lot of this don't you just love it, sponsors? Like a lot of this comes down to, do they trust you? It's not what not what the competitors are saying. It's what do you see here? And if this is messed up or if this is wrong or the landing page is wrong, like I'm gonna use this Travis Crawford. Like the reason other than you getting sick here is they're showing that this is our training center for the techs. This is our massive warehouse. This is our cats loading up boxes. And then they're going to go into the yard to show even more trucks. For all I know, this place is in the ghetto. I don't know. But you know what I see? I see very big buildings. I see a lot of trucks. I see implied credibility. And you know what implied credibility means? It means my ads convert better.
Makes sense.
Did you really?
Alan was saying how like the average cost seems to be like over $5,000. Otherwise, it's a bad client. Or I forgot the exact terminology. Home services would still be a good niche, in your opinion, just due
Yes.
to the emergency factor or the pure volume factor in that sense.
Right.
Yes.
Right. And the last AC I bought, which was for the upstairs, was at least $12,000, which I thought I overpaid for it. But you know what? I needed a friggin' AC in the second floor. The first one died. But anyway, what I'm getting to here is home services is a great niche. And you know, like if you got a window replacement, crazy bucks. And also one thing that I look at is, do you see people arbitraging the business? Like are there people, I mean, just like what we were talking about today, we're arbitraging this stuff. None of us here actually own HVAC business. And we're looking at like, how do we arbitrage it? And that's the key. There are a lot of people, like if you call them moving companies, I'm just watch those movers near me. I'm gonna put
Yeah, because I'll let Dominic answer or ask a question after me because I have like 50 more questions I can ask and I want to respect everyone else's time and whatnot. And I'll share kind of what I am working on that I think anyone else can share and take. I don't mind sharing secrets, nothing held back.
works.
But this is very intriguing stuff and exactly what I've been looking for. So thank you,
Okay.
Charles.
I'm gonna go to Dominic, unmute you. How's it going?
Doing good. Yeah, great questions all around and info. So when it comes to landing page website, so the client I'm working on right now, I'm redoing the whole website as well because the website's just garbage. Would you then run each landing page specific to the service? Like he does turf install, he does
Yes.
design. So you
Yep.
You'd create one master one, make sure that that's like dialed in, and then duplicate it over and run specific campaigns to that.
Yep. And I would have a big picture that says exactly what we do on that header.
Okay.
Because the minute you ask your prospects to think is the minute they don't click for you.
So if it's turf design, have a huge picture of at least turf design that they've done or somewhere on Google.
Yes.
So
Yes.
connecting the dots. And
Exactly.
then utilize those same pictures on the website so there's congruency because they're going to
Mhm.
inevitably Google and stuff.
Yeah. And it's funny because and I think this is perfect. Nobody's leaving, and this is Steven just wrote this. I thought it was perfect. Nobody's leaving a window broken or a water heater busted. The great thing about home services, you always need, and I'm going to unmute Alec, you always need somebody to fix something. It's just the nature of the beast. And like we're talking about movers, veteran owned and operated. Now, as an example, veterans stick together. I mean, really, really they do. So because of that, this dude's going to appeal to veterans. Like they'll even pay more to keep it in the family, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
So, but don't lie about it because it's bad juju. How's it going?
Hey, I think I know the answer, but what if you have specific service pages? You're still saying just an ad landing page that specifically just deals with
Yes.
okay.
Yeah. And also you have links at the bottom that go back to the main site if they want to go explore. But what I find is like even the very best designed website isn't designed for leads. Like they're usually designed to look good, but not necessarily generate leads.
Okay.
So I always tell clients like, give me a landing page, like then that's why we use Unbounce and a couple other programs. I can make it look so much better in Unbounce, and I can make it convert more. Because the problem is, and I'm going to use this. Let's just randomly pick on this, by the way. I have no clue who we're picking on, and I don't, in a case you know the guy, I'm not picking on any of these people. I'm just going to like use them as examples. 2 Men in a Truck. Okay, go to Gentle Giant. Okay, we're going to kind of leave it. One more. We're going to call it quits. Okay. If I land on this page, guess what I look at? I'm going to be like, reliable, stress-free moving. I like this. I'm going to go ahead. I mean, like this is a great landing page. I mean, it looks good. I like it. I got credibility. While this looks good, it probably wouldn't work great for a, quote unquote, general homepage. I mean, probably I would use it for that. But, and by the way, these cats are in Florida. But when I'm looking at this, like I'm like, I see a phone number, request a free estimate. I wouldn't do the green because a lot of men are red green colorblind. The dude should be looking. This should be facing this right here. Don't ever look away from your text. Look to your text. Click the call. I like that. Click call. That looks auto transport. I'm not looking for auto transport. Long distance moving. I mean, I'm looking at this. I'm like, they're happy. This stress-free move. By the way, in case you don't know, moving is stressful for most people. Okay, 30,000 families moved, 40 moves booked. Wow, I like that. The nation's top long-distance moving company, Colonial. Where it feels like an airplane. Where I'm going to, where I'm coming from, feels good, but needs to work. But I mean, overall, this is not a bad landing page. It doesn't seem bad. Now this is more of a quiz type at the top. But can anybody read? I mean, I can't. This is a massive monitor, and I can't read any of this crap. All I see is light gray font that hurts my eyes. Do you know? Okay, have y'all ever got caught up in a Google map on a page, landing page, on a mobile page, where you just close the damn page because it doesn't work? Do not, under any circumstances, put friggin' Google Map at the top of the page. It will cause you to say bad words. I'm just saying. But this is a bad landing page. Your stress-free move starts with Charlotte's most trusted moving company. I like that. These guys are national. They're not, But do you notice Charlotte Football Club? It's something that's instantly recognizable in the image. Are these guys implying that they moved they did the Charlotte Football Club? No, they're not implying that. But they have instant recognized credibility, get a free quote. Guess what? I like this. Call or text us or online now. Do you realize that they're handling mobile, text, online? They're hitting all three modalities. You know?
Clients that are concerned about having multiple phone numbers.
Yes. Okay, I had a client, we're using a call rail where we have a different phone number. I got this nasty email from a client. I mean, nasty. Talking about I'm sending clients to somebody, leads to somebody else. It's not his phone number, and I need to get my blank together and stop effing up. I fired the client after I showed it to him. He's like, I'm sorry. I'm like, good, you're fired anyway. I fire clients very easily because they're easy to get. But what I'm saying is whenever that happens, I always tell them these are phone numbers for tracking. It's just tracking. I always tell them that. And if they want to argue, I'm like, okay, well, then you come up with a solution for me, which usually ends the argument. Charlotte movers. Can anybody tell me how to get this to work? The quick estimate is in green on a white, in a green background with a green button color. I'm looking at this going, I don't know what it's doing. Yeah. Like I see this friggin' thing's going to cause chaos for me. The thing is, like, they're bringing stuff up that I haven't even got to. I'm just trying to figure out a quote. I'm sure this stuff might rank, but if I scroll here, I have no clue how to get back to like, and I'm not looking up here for customer login or request an estimate. And then we've got the moving Buddha. Guys, do you remember the Google Money Tree? We talk about running review sites and stuff like that. Do you think he's preferred partners? Safeway, American, 4.2, 4.8. He's got this screwed up because 4.8 should be higher than that. Quote, rating, long distance movers. I mean, this is a classic example. This stuff, I hate to say it, this stuff works. It absolutely works. So, okay, I'm going to unmute Joe. How's it going?
Hello again. This is all awesome stuff. And so I get the takeaway now with the landing pages, how it converts. Going back to like the economics, kind of where we were in the beginning, how do you see what's profitable? And I guess when you mentioned the Google Money Tree, is this kind of what you had in mind? Um,
The
because again,
review.
for context, what I've done thus far is I've just been brokering call. So people need a plumber, boom, I send it to my buyer. I have a supplier. The whole goal with this is to be able to own my own supply because I have the buyers who want to buy the calls. If I can control my supply, then it's like one, I can increase my margins, but control my business, control my destiny,
Mm-hmm.
not stress, and get less of these gray hairs here. They're coming in.
Oh,
So
totally get it. So I think the key is hey, you need to create a content site that works. Because a lot of these guys, like all the guys you see here, they're having every lead they go by is a brand new lead. You know, you need some level of content site, if that makes sense.
what do you mean by
And like I would create something that starts ranking in these specific geographic areas. And it's actually, dude, way easier than you ever imagine.
is that covered in the course?
No.
Okay, good.
But I can just tell you this, and we're going to cover probably another couple things. I always tell people I know very little about SEO as compared to pay-per-clicks, the interwebs. I know a little bit more about that than I do SEO, but I'm pretty doggone good at it. So what I'm going to tell you is one thing you need to look at is creating a content site that will rank. And you basically, and using AI makes this stuff so much easier. You would not believe how easy it's been to build out content for a lot of my sites lately. But basically, you build up a lot of content, use Google Search Console, use Bing Webmaster Tools, and you start basically building sites. You start getting some links to them. You're going to get links. You can buy your links. That's an easy way to do it. And literally, you just start organically ranking for this stuff. Now, the cool thing is, you organically rank, you'll be hitting long tail keywords. Problem is, it's not predictable and it's not controllable. Google can have an SEO update next week and kick you out. So keep that in mind. And you're going to be competing against like this right here. You're literally going to be competing on the front page of Google for other people. The thing that you have to keep in mind is when you get these leads and you sell the leads, I'm going to go back over to this one. By the way, this guy, I could go here and I could be looking at the best long distance moving rates anywhere. Doesn't make a difference. Charlotte, which is one of many locations they have. I could probably put Charleston there. But if you look at this stuff, a lot of this is like moving cost calculator, moving by state. These are things people do before when they're figuring out they want to move. And then they come in, long distance, best interstate. These are just reviews. And literally every single state is broken out with movers. Best movers in Indiana. Guess what? I guarantee you, he did not put these people on here out of the kindness of his heart. I guarantee you, everybody that you see here has paid to be here.
So is this the better way than you're saying than competing and just outbidding people on Google?
This is another way to do it.
Ah,
Like this takes a lot more effort, a lot more. I mean, dude, a lot more effort, a lot more work, especially if you do the state by state things. Because, and me and Steve were talking about this last week. This is basically a rent and rank site, I believe. And this dude has got people to pay him to get their site up here. This guy's making money. He's making money by having traffic, And the thing is, when you build stuff like this out, organically, it does begin to rank because you got so much content, and Google sees that as an authority site. But what I'm saying is, they're getting leads on the site. It's a long, slow build out. Something like this is direct response. Let's fight it out. Whoever's got the best landing page wins. This is a much longer play. Do these kind of landing pages right now fight it out with Google, fight out with competition? I would take something like this and start building out long term. And you could build most of the stuff with AI. I mean, but I guarantee you, and I could probably do a site colon search to figure out how long this site's been out. Oh, I can from 2015. So over the course of 10 years, I have a feeling they rank.
so if you were selling calls like on a pay per call basis on a duration, right? So, hey, listen, again, easy vertical is plumbing, is hey, listen, you only pay for calls or customers that are on the phone for 90 seconds or longer. I'll give you
Okay.
this script, I'll qualify them. Most of these guys is an urgent thing. Is the best way to control your supply then just Google AdWords in that scenario?
Yep.
Okay.
Just start bidding. And the key is, I'm still getting rid of the money. I do sound better than I had been sounding, guys. So I need to give myself a pat on the back for that. But the key is to make this work, dude. If your landing page converts better than say this landing page, which it should, by the way, because this is not a bad landing page, not a great landing page. This is going to be the key. You can convert better, you get more of the leads, and you can pay more, and that takes care of your volume standpoint. But if you can't pay more per lead than somebody else, and the key, and this is the thing, a lot of people think, well, Charles, I can't outbid. I'm using this as an example. I can't outbid like who my top competitor is. Most of your top competitors, if you do the same landing page, you're gonna get similar results than they do. Your results will typically be similar. What I typically do is build out a landing page that is so close to what they have, and then I turn around and create a totally different page that's like radically different to test.
The two-part question then on that is if I'm getting, for example, paid $85 per 90-second duration for plumbing, for example, in
Mm-hmm.
Chicago, how can I see if the metrics or the economics make sense through the AdWord research or whatever tool you would use? And then the second part question I had from that, it just slipped my mind, which is unfortunate because it was a good question. Um, but yeah, how did you figure out the economics?
You just literally have to turn on an ad to see what the results look like.
And just give it
Even
a
if
go.
you
That's testing
just
and
give it a go, give it a go. Put in $50, see what happens. $20.
oh, this was the question. How can you funnel hack someone else is doing the same thing? So if you go to like competitor research, and if you see like ABC Plumbing is doing this and they're spending X amount on Google or whatever it is it just make the same landing page as them, like you said, and just rip it?
Mm-hmm. Yep. There's actually tools that will let you download the entire website. So keep that in mind. There literally are, if you Google like download website, there are tools that basically you plug it in, it reads their robots text, and then like downloads the entire site.
What
So
kind
you
of
can
tool?
you can
Just
um
like,
I'm not gonna say it because I don't want to get in trouble because it may not be ethical. And I just Google site ripping, just Google something called site ripper. Um
like,
it's probably infected with malware, so I wouldn't use it. But I'm just saying, Google Site Ripper. It's basically a
okay.
plug-in. You put in the URL, dude. It will download everything on the website that can be connected.
Okay.
Okay.
Good.
And right here, to keep our site free, we provide phone numbers and links for some of the moving services featured in our reviews. When you click these links, submit your information, or make a phone call, we may, out of kindness of their hearts, receive compensation. That being said, the results of our editorial reviews reflect our personal opinion about all of these moving companies. While our affiliate relationship may influence moving service reviews, it does not affect the. I just love this. I'm gonna zip it. I'm gonna go to Steve.
That's amazing. Right.
Hey, I dropped a link in the chat for one of the NHB calls. It's called the Blakeonomics, how to track everything in your funnel call. And there's a template in that as well. And that will allow you to look at the economics of the business model and what you're considering as far as costs and all that kind of thing, and help you actually track what's going on at all the stages. So that'll give you a better, more detailed picture, Joe, of everything that's going on, should you want to do one of these sites, et cetera, et cetera. That'll help a lot. And that's from like June 2022. So a lot of people miss that one.
It's a good one. It's a good one. So
Amazing.
let's pretend that we were gonna like. I don't download my own website. I'm certainly not downloading anyone else's website because that's not cool. But I would use HTT Track. This is it's an old school tool. Just use it. Why not? Just use it for however you want to use it. And basically, it looks like it was made in 1999. You plug in the URL and hit rip, and guess what? This thing's going to do? Download it. Every stinking thing it can find. Everything. Now, only do that for your own sites that you personally have. We don't want to ever download or steal anything that belongs to somebody else. So only do this on websites that you personally have. Disclaimer of the day. But dude, go try this. I mean, and they're supported with ads, by the way. So keep that in mind. They're supported with ads. I'm gonna throw that in the handy dandy Google Doc here. There are other products that do this, by the way. This isn't the only one. How's it going, Dominic?
Good. So for landing page, I know you've mentioned unbalance. What about go high level? So the client that I'm working with needs a brand new CRM that I'm probably gonna install for him with automations. I know go high level can be fast. I know unbalance can be faster, but what are your thoughts on the two?
I mean, it takes a little more work to make Go High Level look good, but dude, you can do it. And the beautiful thing about Go High Level, the SMS is integrated, the landing page is integrated, the tags are integrated, the CRM's integrated, everything's integrated into that.
Yeah.
And you don't have to have like 12 different pieces of software.
Yeah.
So it works. I'm not a Go High Level fan because of the amount of effort it takes to make those pages look good.
Yeah. I'm just thinking for this specific client because his website's gonna be on Webflow, and I'm doing a lot more than just media buying. I'm putting automations in and all this stuff. I'm just trying to keep his costs low as well.
Dude,
So cool.
do that. Webflow is not, I like Webflow, but landing pages in Webflow are not easy. I
Yeah.
mean, at least for me, they're not easy. Maybe because I just don't know how to use it.
Yeah, I'm using Webflow for the website because
Dude, beautiful. I love Webflow for websites.
yeah, sweet.
Go high level all the way. Let me unmute Michael. Michael, dude, how's it going?
Great, Charles. How you doing?
Doing good.
Uh,
How's the weather out there?
it's actually beautiful right now. It's sunny and it's in the low 60s right now.
Wow, you guys always have the best weather.
You always ask about the weather out here, man.
Dude, it's great. I love that area.
It'll warm up to about 75 today. So, um, all right. So I have a question basically from last week, if that's
Okay.
okay. So I wasn't sure if
Sure.
I should save it to the end or
No,
ask
no,
now.
well, go for it.
Okay, so I'm trying to put a review site together, and I know you mentioned a lot of assets like Rakuten, Lovable, Webflow, and even ChatGPT, and I'm trying to figure out, okay, how do these all work together, and how do I put it all together? I guess so, and what's going to be on the site? And then you mentioned glossaries. Do I put a glossary on the site? Do I put a there's 5 reviews, or do I put a comparison on there, or is that another page? Because when I
All
started
of it.
getting into
All of it. All of
okay,
it, dude. So let's go back over here.
so
So,
I'm looking for a how-to.
okay, I like that. So first we need to start
That's
with the
okay.
content. uh, so we need content. GPT, the content. Basically, feed it something to start with. Feed it anything. I'm not saying what to feed it. I'm just saying feed it something. What you feed it is up to you. Like it
Okay,
could be a competitor's website. Feed it that and have it create the content. What you want to do is basically you want to do A versus B, which is I'm making this up like product A versus product B.
yeah,
You also want to do review of category, and that's going to be A, B, C, D, however you want to look at it from that standpoint. So
so I
you
would
want to
simply
do,
call that we've got a comparison page and we've got a 5 review page, right?
right. Yep. And then for these right here, basically what you want to do is A versus B. Then you want to do B versus C.
Okay,
And literally what you want to do is like build. I mean, dude, you just want to build up. And by the way, ChatGTP would have done this before. It will make it so incredibly easy. So C versus D, and I'm going to use this. And then when it's all said and done, then I'm going to take like maybe D versus B. I'm just going to build as many variations as I can.
sure.
And I'm going to build like, maybe the history of this, which one's better. I'm going to build it out, then do category review. And then you do a review of each page, if that makes sense. But I'm going to just say each item. So here you'd have like a standalone A page, standalone B page. Here's like a category review. And here's a review of each item. So as a category of like, how does A work? I think, let's pretend that's HubSpot. HubSpot is $1 billion company. It compares very well against B, C, and D. But here is basically a review item that's standalone.
Okay,
So we got that. Then what you want to go over here and do is, and this is kind of what I was talking with Joe, like then I need to create content for my trust. Content that builds trust. Oh my gosh, I can't spell. I don't think I can ever spell, so it's okay. I usually voice dictate everything, which is one reason I'm a horrible typist. I'm going to do content. So what I'm going to do is, what are people looking for? And they could be anything. Just create a glossary of terms. Once you've got a glossary of terms, then you turn around, start creating content. People like the thing is, Google loves the About Us page. I don't know why, they just do. Contact, privacy policy. Also, you want to do like that affiliate disclosure, which we kind of saw up here, was like, hey, I do occasionally get clicks for this stuff. And what you want to do is literally build out, you want to create, I'm going to call these hub pages. I'm going to use what's called the hub and spoke method. So my hub page could be like a master page about, and I'm making this up, X, Y. It's like a definitive page about X. Then, that's going to be, then we're going to talk about the smaller pages. And they start linking to these smaller pages. There's a lot that goes into it. This is just like a very quick overview of that.
Okay.
But the key is when you're building on these Google Money Tree sites, you're basically buying traffic, generally sending here so they can see like product A, B, how do all three of these compare? And that's really the key. You're buying traffic for that. Google sees all this other stuff there and says, hey, you're a good net citizen. Well, unmute Stephen. And it makes it so much easier. So kind of keep that in mind.
Charles, I DM'd you a link for a table that I made related to some of the different content that people can use. Last week I mentioned that I had a list of commercial intent modifiers for Google search, meaning people that are product focused.
Yes.
I went back and brainstormed top of the funnel. Like they're not totally solution aware or anything yet, but there are different types of content that work really, really well for top of the funnel type of stuff, like beginner playbooks, glossary lists, like Charles mentioned. And like I said, Charles, I dropped the link to the table there for you. And I think that I just wanted you to take a quick glance at it. That might help people. I just wanted to give you a first blush before I dropped it in the chat, just to give people more ideas.
Do drop it in the chat.
Okay. All right. Will do. That'll help everybody.
And guys, and this is the thing, like I'm gonna use this as an example. A lot of the stuff that you see, I'm gonna try to download this thing that Gabe sent me. It's cool. Let's see. Drag this in.
Hey, Charles.
Yes.
So for the master hub, let's say we're doing, we were talking about movers earlier, right? So let's say you're going to do a review page on the 5 local movers in Charlotte, right? And rank them. So would your master page be about moving, the challenges, just things like a checklist almost of what to do for movers, just more content focused around that specific topic? Is that what it would be in the master page? No. Okay, great.
So like what I would do, like I would hang the checklist over here. I'd hang the checklist. I'd also have a cost calculator.
Oh, go to share the screen again.
Give me 1 second. So I would put in like a cost calculator, a checklist. You want to put like, and Gabe just kind of nailed it probably better than anything I can say. They need to know you, trust you, and like you. And what I find is
that's tied to video content, but the same principles apply.
And it's amazing because like when we put the calculator in, people are like, oh, we also do get a little of this cost of living comparisons. Oh my God. So we put these tables in like, what does it cost to live in North Carolina versus Charlotte? The thing is, you want to put anything in here that can increase your credibility. Because remember, you're competing against Mayflower, 2 men in a truck, insert whatever, makes no difference. And what we do is a lot of times we will use ChatGPT to build these massive, massive blog posts. And these massive blog posts will start getting traction. The problem is that they don't generally convert into leads initially, but it shows Google that we have trust, we've got authority, we've got expertise, and it helps build it. And the people who are searching glossary terms for anything are usually your novice beginners. I'll unmute Stephen.
The other thing that it's good to do with your beginner content is this is the way that you can give people the experience of you and how much you can help them before they have to make themselves known, pick up the phone, give you an email, et cetera, et cetera. So little things like the calculator as an example, or a downloadable checklist. I mean, it's kind of a free lead magnet, but it's not, because you're not just trying to build a list of people that opted into free, but giving them a way to experience what it's like for you to service their needs on a very, very small issue in a way that's not asking them to, like, reread War and Peace on your website to do so. That helps build that trust faster, because it's a lot like Alan was saying on the last NHB call. If you can get people to spend more time with you each day, a little bit by little bit, then that moves them more toward trusting you. And once they've decided that you've been helpful to them 2 or 3 times, when they go somewhere else in a search, they've already got that pre-existing experience with you. Now they're not evaluating everybody else in an objective way. They're evaluating everybody else against the positive experience they've had with you already.
Yes.
So that's where that content continues to build, by making it easy and accessible for people, because most people, most businesses, and honestly, most marketing teams that service those businesses aren't going to go through all the effort to put those little pieces in. They're just not. But it helps in a big, big, big way. And as a parallel, this also goes to retention and keeping people coming back in. These little breadcrumbs, these little ways you can solve new problems. It's an easy way to bring people back in, solve new problems, make new offers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
And this is the big thing. Like, most people have never, like, I'm gonna use Gabe for example. Most people haven't had a car wrapped. Like him explaining the process of what it is, how they do it. Like, they clean the car, wax it, prep it. It's in this, enclosed area that's lint free, and how his technicians, have been trained. And there's like multiple different film companies. Some film companies are better than others. And, how they tuck in the pieces, and how you don't get air bubbles up under it. And, literally how they take every piece off the car and re-put it back. Like, if you've never done it and he explains it in a video or on a website, I'm like, this is the dude who knows how to do it. And that's a big deal. And that's why you see Gabe's, if you ever watch this stuff, he's got tons, really good content, lots and lots of really good content.
Also, just hidden gem here, mistakes you want to avoid while doing XYZ, or mistakes or things you want your service provider to avoid. There's a guy on YouTube right now. He's a home inspector, and his whole shtick is bad home inspections. And he gets a ton of business because he's pointing out mistakes from everybody.
Yes.
As opposed to thinking that you have to be an insufferable know-it-all or a walking encyclopedia on your subject. If you have expertise, that means you can apply that knowledge enough to point out, hey, this sounds like a good idea, but this is actually where you're screwing this up, or this is why this is unnecessary, or this is the only reason you would need this, even though they try to tell it to everybody. That kind of stuff is gigantic as a shortcut for building trust.
And guys, that's it. Once you build it, and that's going to be like one of the problems with the movers, you only have one moving need at a time. So literally you have to build trust in a very short window to get them to say yes. Because otherwise it's all price based. And honestly, if I was a mover and I was like the most expensive one, I would be creating content left and right about why I charge more. I charge more because I don't break your dishes, and I would literally then go into horror stories, because you can go to Reddit, find horror stories on Bob got a paper cut, had his hand amputated. You can find a horror story about everything, like literally. And you want to create the content that solves the problem for them, answers the objections, because we're talking about moving to Kiowa. Average house in Kiowa, $1 million. And that's for the low end. The more trust you can build, and that's why these review sites work so incredibly well, because it's assumed that if you're reviewing a site, you must be authoritative in it. And when you do a review of like product A versus product B, then hey, here's an entire category. And then I can do a different category. And then I review like product A standalone, product B standalone, product C. And the key is, like, if you're arbitraging the stuff like we're talking about, you can send your Google traffic here, and very often you'll end up with 2 sales. This could be supplements, this could be wrap, this could be moving companies, this could be anything. Humans we want to give somebody else the decision making ability. Like you, Charles, do you want to make a decision? No, I'd rather not make a decision. Well, great. I'm gonna do it for you. You don't have to figure out which product to buy because I just did it for you. It works. It absolutely works, guys. People inherently do not want to make a decision. And if you can do these review sites, guess what happens? You're the de facto expert. I'm gonna unmute Joe.
All right. This is amazing. I have like a four-part question. Most of them are just like yes or no or one-word answers. So, domain for doing this. Does this need to be a generic domain? Meaning like chicagolandplumbing.com. Hey, look at these 8 different plumbers in Chicago. This is the pros and cons with each one. Or do you do, uh, I guess, differently?
Makes no difference. Dude,
No
makes
different.
no difference.
Okay. What's
I
a
would
common?
use Chicagoland plumbers if I had it, just because it's easy.
Right. Okay. A timeline. Does this take 1 month, 3 months, 6 months to really build up? If I was to start tomorrow, what to expect?
Nah, dude, if you're building this out, you can build the content out like this. Dude, it would take you maybe 8 to noon to build this content out with ChatGTP. At least for mine, it would take me about that. Once you've got it, you need to use something like Lovable or something that you're good from a web design standpoint. Lovable's good. I love Webflow, but it takes a lot more skill to make Webflow work. That's just me. Maybe I suck at it. What you want to do is find something like Lovable, create your template, even if it's WordPress. I mean, whatever. It doesn't make, as long as it loads fast and you're going to be good, dude, create Lovable, clone it, and then just copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. This stuff here, like creating a checklist, Chat GPT, 15 minutes. Calculator, I'd probably leave that alone. A lot of this stuff you can pull, like you could use Manus to pull a cost of living table calculator or cost of living report from all 5,100 major metropolitan stories. Dude, there's enough AI. There are probably kids in Kenya build this stuff and probably will be outranking us before long. AI has the great leveling agent.
So does
Literally,
this impact whether it's local versus national?
wouldn't make any difference to me. National, local, either one. The key is you need to make sure that when you're driving traffic there, that you send them to that main review category with all 4 or 5 products on there with stars like we did last week, gold, silver, bronze. Make that. That's going to be where most of your traffic goes to start with. But like you were saying earlier, if I was sending for like like I'm gonna use this. If I'm getting traffic today, I would just use something like this. I'd buy my traffic, send it here. You know what? You're competing against a bunch of other moving companies that do a half blank job anyway. You can probably win something. So don't put it like this. I would start with this and then move to this because this is going to take you a lot more time.
And then going similar to local versus national, same concept for residential versus commercial, I'm guessing.
I do one for if I had commercial AC, residential AC, industrial AC.
And then if you work with a brand that's got zero brand credibility, no reviews, no online presence, like Chicagoland Home Services, we have nothing, but I think it could be built up into something. Um, how does brand awareness, reputation factor in when it comes to like the ranking
All
site?
negative to you because you don't have any reputation. I know that's not what you want to hear, but like a lot of times when you see like those reviews are from people they've done the work for.
Mhm.
Basically, you won't have any reviews starting out because you're just starting out, if that makes sense.
Because I don't even want to do the work. I just want to get the jobs. Because again, you type in like Chicagoland, whatever, like
Mhm.
Chicago plumber, like rank Chicagoland Home Services, and then just subcontracts the work out. Easy peasy. I have a lot of domains like that. Like I have needinsuranccoverage.com, and like just listen to you guys talk. I'm like, I think I can do like a ton of shit with that.
Mhm.
Um, so
Dude, I'm the type of person I will not lie in any way, shape, or form if I'm not like my life's not on the line for that. If I didn't
that's
have a
all.
review, I wouldn't even use the review. If I didn't have one, I wouldn't use one.
So I'll just do that for other brands then. Just whatever, and just run for other brands and put
I
them
would
on some
I
way
would
with it.
I would like, hey, here's like I'm making this, Jimmy John's, Subway, Blimpies. Blimpies has got 500 reviews. Jimmy John's got 1,000. Subway's got 2,000. Like I would just use their reviews the way we started earlier, where they were like, this company has this many 5-star reviews, but I would not use my own reviews, and I wouldn't make up any reviews because the FTC is not nice about that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I hate these fake stuff too. So that's kind of with the same ethos there. So I love this call so far, Charles. Never end it. But sorry, continue.
That's good. That's good. Let me go, Stephen. And guys, I got to run to somebody at the door. Give me 1 second, dude. You keep talking. I'm going to mute myself while I see what's at the door.
Just for anybody that doesn't feel like launching into all of the different AI tools and getting lost in the weeds. I'm a big WordPress guy, but if I have a new offer that I just want to launch quick and dirty and just get it up, I go to card.co. Have you guys ever heard of that? Card with 2 A's in it. It's like $20 and you can make as many landing pages as your heart desires for $20 a year. And you don't have to have your own domain. You can launch it on a card.co domain. They'll just put it on their own little subdomain and you can launch to it. You'll see a lot of the high ticket guys talk about how they sell on a Google Doc. I used to have everything just set up on a simple card lander. And so when people opted in, I could just send them to that. It's just a simple little breakdown of everything. Here's what you get. Here's what we're doing. Here's the few visuals. Here's how you sign up. Here's when it happens. And so if you want to just like launch something and kind of get started, that's a great website that has a bunch of templates already pre-built into it. And you can expand as much as you want. It's a drag and drop kind of builder that you just do in your browser. It's very, very lightweight. It's great for newsletter signups. It's great for launching low ticket offers just to get something up while you build out the back end. So some of us like Webflow, some of us like WordPress, some of us like GHL, etc. But if you go to Card, it's very easy to just like get something done in like 2 or 3 hours and you're up.
Where's the data go?
Card.co.
Like the form submissions or whatever. Where do you just API those out to somewhere or?
I usually if I have something that's just a brand new offer, I keep a MailerLite account as just a burner. But the forms and everything on there, you can set it up right there. Like I used to, like if I needed to dry test something, I could spin up a site on Card really quick with a couple of the templates. And MailerLite's like $10 a month. I would insert a form on there and see, how quick I could make it go. Just something that would work. And on card.co, if you sign up for the $20 a year program, you can put a Stripe link on there. So if you have a basic product that you want to sell or a service or something where you just want to get people moving, you can set up a Stripe link on there and just knock it out really fast. So I'm just wanted to put that out there because I know that a lot of us are looking at things like, okay, how do I just get something and then build out something better while I have something up that I can go ahead and move on?
Is it fast?
It's very fast. It's a great little tool. Great little tool to just go ahead and knock things out.
And guys,
Charles, have you ever used Card? I know it's like pre-pandemic as a tool that was used a lot.
Yes,
but it's very, very easy.
It's simple and easy. And the thing is, like, you're not building the Taj Mahal. You just want proof of concept.
That's the whole point. Is speaking as someone who like, I have to get all the pieces out there. I got to get the WordPress thing set up. I got to get tracking set up. I got to get all the emails set up. And I was like, dude, what the hell are you doing? Just get the damn thing up there and test it with your ads and get it moving, and then make it pretty later. Like you have to give it an address. Like I think of it like you have the land, put the mailbox on the land, and then start building your house. That way you can at least get the mail coming to it.
Okay.
Again, I'm gonna say something bad, so guys, please don't be mad at me. I have met dudes who have spent like months building out like the perfect pixel perfect logo and the right thing and everything else to see it fail. I would much rather throw it to the wall. Did it work? Did it not work? Okay. Because it's about the offer. And if the offer is good, you can make pretty much everything else work. And that's the problem. Most people are in PPC with a bad offer And you wonder why you're not getting your ads clicked, you're not getting the conversions, because you sound like everybody, I mean, everybody else. And the more you sound like them, and Gabe's right, like, guys, I can, like, I'm going to use as an example, Let's go to google.com. And you know what? I need more windows. Let's simply type in some placement windows. Oh my gosh, my spelling is bad. Guess what? Is there any difference from Champion versus West Shore? It's like just, I don't know, like all this stuff's the same. Like white windows, black windows, Home Depot, Reddit, Pella, Consumer Reports, Lowe's. And guys, think about this. What is Consumer Reports? They build a business on reviewing products. They don't own the product. They build a business on reviewing the products. Because people literally, like, they take the consumer, I don't know what we're looking at, refrigerators, but they take Consumer Reports as the gospel magazine. Like if they said that Ford is the best luxury car in America, and by the way, they make BMW here in South Carolina, I have uncles who would literally argue with you that, the Consumer Reports said these are the best things on the planet. These are nothing more than review sites. The problem most of these people, most marketers have, and I'm a car wraps near me. I don't know. The only thing I know is this is one that Alan goes to. The dude does super good work. But this is the thing, like, all these things are about the same because I am not educated on this. And that's the key. Like, if your prospects aren't educated, you have to do something and make an offer to stand out. Educate. The key is, like, nobody types in car wraps and goes to buy a car wrap. They've done some level of reviews first. They have some level of education, because I'm going to use this. Like I like window. Like I like window tint. I mean, I used to have tint on the front windshield, and my thought was, if I can't see out, they can't see in. I'm just slightly joking about that, but the reality of it is, there's like different levels of tint, different colors. Your prospect has already educated themselves to some extent about your product, your offering, your everything. The question is, where do they get educated? Where did they get educated at? Guess what? If they got educated on the competitor site, they're going to basically go back to the competitor site. So I'm going to use this. I'm trying to pick a subject that I don't think anybody's going to be. Does anybody know what a Rockford Fosgate woofer is? Okay, other than Gabe and probably Steven, I grew up in the time where there was Rockford Fosgates, you had 12s, 15, 10s, 8s, and then you had like MTX. There's nothing wrong with MTX. It's just different, if that makes sense. You say, Charles, what are you even talking about? Strange words you're using. Okay. So I'm going to use this as an example. Let's pretend I need to put a little boom in the back of the car. You know what? We're playing completely. I'm using this as an example so we can say we're starting on the fair thing. I'm not going to start with Rockford Fosgate because I don't even know what that is. I'm going to start with like maybe subwoofers for cars. And you know what? I'm going to get educated on this. You know what's going to happen? The course of a couple of days, I'm going to watch some videos, watch a YouTube video, which we could remarket into YouTube, and I'm going to get educated on this stuff. Now, one of the major players in this is called Crutchfield. They had magazines. I mean, like I used to love the Crutchfield magazine. And I'm going to just open this up. Back in the day, they had a magazine, but the magazine had educational articles about it. And I don't know if they got the best price or the worst price, but you know what? I have been buying for Crutchfield since like 1991, 92, something like that. I was the dude with the Alpine amps. Rockford Fosgate. I mean, that's just who I was. Like, but I'm going to come here and I'm going to get educated. And guess what's going to happen when I get educated? I'm just type in Kia Soul just for this example because I love Kia Souls. I'm just pick Soul here. Okay. I'm just saying no. I got no. Okay. The person who educates the market the first, and Steven said it, Gabe said it, when you educate that market, I've been buying, do you realize I've been buying from these people since like 90 something? I just realized, and that's a long time to have a customer. And I'm up here going, man, this is great. This is perfect. Because you educate them. Now, granted, they're selling these things as well. But what do you see? Top rated, top seller, top rated. Like I was hoping for the Rockford, but it's just me. But like I may not know what, like I'm gonna add as an example. If I'm looking at this, I don't know what RMS means. Unless you're into this, you know what it is. Peak 300 watts. Is that loud? Is that a lot of power? Maybe, maybe not. What's frequency? The reality of it is once you educate that customer, they're your customer for life. I mean, Steven. And dude, I mean, and this is the thing, like the people that when you educate them, like they're going to be buying from you forever.
Yeah. Just to add a bit of nuance here, there's a caution. The more solution aware they get, the less education they want. Yes. So they need the education at the very top of the funnel in a couple of different ways. If you're having people that are more beginner and they don't really understand the language of the space, so to speak, they're going to want all of that basic material. But that's how you get people into the space. That's the game. That's what Charles is talking about now. At the same time, what we were talking about earlier with the landing page examples, if you have people that already kind of understand what to look for, well, then you're going to skip all of the, let me explain to you why my landscaping is the best, because what they're looking for in terms of education is more personal. They want to know that you can solve relatable problems. So as example, with what Charles was just talking about with the Crutchfield catalog, they have a car audio side and they have a home theater side, right? So if you went to an article for Crutchfield and it was all about woofer sizes and speaker frequencies and blah blah blah, but it was related, you end up finding that was related to home theater versus audio, you'd be like, oh, well, time out. That's not going to be very useful for me.
Yeah.
Right. And that's where you got to kind of go in there. So it's very similar to how we all got into the marketing game. You had to kind of understand what the lingo was and what it all meant before you could really apply it. But when you have people move from problem unaware to problem aware and then start getting into solution unaware, you got to go more toward motivation. And Alan did a great call on that, educational versus motivational copy. But that's how you want to differentiate it. So if you're dealing with like super cold audiences and you want to bring more people in, education is the way to go. And a tell on where people are how they respond to that very beginner content, the playbooks, the glossaries, that kind of thing. Those are people that are new to it, but may not really have an idea on how to make an educated buying decision yet, which is perfect for your low ticket offers, as example, as a gateway drug to get them in. Because if you can get them on a low ticket deal, then they're going to be yours for life because you've educated them and you've given them a simple offer. And they're like, okay, now I want to go further. What else can I do with these people? And for some of you guys doing like big home service based businesses, that can be tough, but just wanted to put it out there too. If you're going to do, some of those other sites that we're thinking about, especially with Google, it's very easy to separate all this with Google ads.
Because like I'll use an example, subwoofer for a car. That's someone who's informational search. They wouldn't know a Rockford from a Kicker from an MTX, and there's nothing wrong with that. But that is the type of search that when you're looking for it, I'm not going to go bid on this maybe, because it's purely an I'm still figuring out my life. If I come in here and just put like MTX 12-inch subwoofer, you know what? I would bid on this all day long because it's a very specific, quote unquote, the person knows what they want. And the same thing with, I'm going to go back to Windows. If I type in window replacement because I got no clue, I just need my windows replaced. This type of searches, I don't particularly know. There's Pella, there's Anderson, there's Marvin, there's like any number of them. The problem you're going to have with is it like these type of searches are dominated once you get past your response research here. But like Anderson and Marvin, because they're trying to pitch, they get the lead and they're going to send it to a home installer. They're going to charge a home installer for it, by the way. But those are type of, and this is a perfect example of this. Is Zen Window in Charlotte? No, not really. Angie's List service provider, best award, who knows what that means. Guess what? You can go over here, come back where it says Charlotte. You take that out. They've probably got every major city in there as well. The key here is if you don't know what you're searching for, you start with general information searches and you keep narrowing it down. If you know what you're searching for, you wouldn't start with that. You would start with something much larger, much broader from that standpoint. You have to and this goes back to Joe, and same thing with Allie, you function by start out with movers near. If I'm typing movers near me, I'm ready to go. Like if I'm typing a moving quote near me, I'm getting prices. I'm price shopping at that point. There's nothing wrong with price shopping. I'm just saying I'm price shopping. And this is going to be the key. You have to basically create content for both of those scenarios, for information searches and for the I'm ready to buy now search. And it's not hard. And we've kind of covered how to do that. And I'm going to go back over to this one. This is a great example. Red shoe, women's size 8. I was using that for a video today. Is it flats? Is it heels? Is it whatever? And this is the key. Google, and same thing with Bing. If I'm going to put high vac emergency service, this person just wants a solution to the problem. They're going to click on the first person who will answer the phone, text them back, whatever the case may be, and that's going to be a big, big deal. Just click it. Now, I'll show you this. Let's go ahead and let's look at this. We'll be there within 45 minutes. Which one is more compelling? Call Dad, more Jenkins, or I'll be there in 45 minutes. I see these guys all over the place too. $50 off the repair. Be there in 45 minutes. You know what? My AC broke. I just want the thing fixed. I don't care. I will pay more not to sweat to death. And that's the thing, Charlotte emergency AC repair, $69 seasonal tune-up. I don't care about that. I just want to say, will you come to me now? This guy's got a coupon built in. Save up to $7,000 on a new HVC. And they'll finance it out. Make a landing page that does one thing, gets name, email, contact information, gets the process started. That's where people mess up. It's like they want one thing and they want it now. That's going to be your biggest challenge, dude. Build commercial. And by the way, I do think this is a bad search because I'm thinking, is this emergency commercial, residential, industrial? Because all those are slightly different.
Check that chat. Check the chat there, Charles. That should help you out.
Perfect. And this is perfect, dude. Thank you so much. Let me download this. This is cool. And then, guys, think about this. I just need a solution to my problem. You know what? And once you realize this is not as complicated as most people make it out to be, when people have a service need, they're willing to give me money. They're willing to give you money. They're willing to give all of us money. But this is the key. This is a good example. They find you. You can teach them. They compare everything like against Gabe. This is great. They compare everything against you. You're the gold standard. I'm going to say something relatively bad, and I don't mean it to be as bad as it's going to sound. Do you know why like a lot of old school gurus are old school gurus? Because there was nobody else teaching this stuff. Like a lot of these guys, it's not that they were any better. You guys are probably well advanced over most of the gurus I know. And I know almost all of them. I probably do know all of them, but there was nobody to compare to. I like this guide them solution. This is it. Unaware, more aware. Educate, checklist. Same thing we're talking about. The calculator, checklist, the guide. You educate them. If they already know what they want, they're just looking for like my solution to the problem. This is good. This is real good because I want you to think about this. Let's pretend I'm selling stereo equipment. You come in and say, Charles, I want to buy a Alpine head, and you just name the model. Guess what? You already know what you want. You just think I got a good price and maybe I can install it today.
Easy money.
Easy money. If I come in and say, I know nothing about stereos, but I want a booming system. Well, now I got to educate you about subwoofers, amps. I got heads, equalizers, the monster cable that goes along. I mean, there's like an entire educational process that has to happen. And because of that educational process, me as a user, I can't just say, walk in and pick a head. They wouldn't. All they see is all this stuff is alike. All of it is alike. It all looks together. It's all got the same funny numbers. And it makes a difference. Let me unmute Joe. How's it going, dude?
Rapid fire. Okay, so is this? And I gotta listen to last week's call. I can't believe I missed it, but it's like it's the one call I should have been on. Is this one like the ranking stuff? Is that kind of you set it up once and just let it run, and you kind of just update it with content, and is that all covered in the call? I'm guessing.
That's a whole different animal.
Okay.
Whole different animal.
And then,
So,
sorry, go ahead.
good. So basically, like building a site to rank organically in SEO is wonderful. I love it. 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 Because it lets you showcase your expertise. So you showcase the expertise or use ChatGPT to do it. But either way, but the problem is, dude, like this is a whole, like to do a quick review site where you're comparing A versus B, I can send pay-per-click traffic here all day. All this other build-out stuff you see here is very long-term.
Got it.
But
Okay.
once you get it, there's these things called backlinks, and then there's content, and there's ways we can game it. But if you just build out, hey, here's a review of the top 5, I'm making this up, top 5 plumbers in Chicago, you could send traffic to that and be okay.
Okay. And then I guess summarizing everything you've said, if you wanted to get to $500 a day profit as fast as you can, what structure or what model would you go after? Would you go local targets, just Chicago? Would you go nationwide? Would you
I would do local. Do local. Chicago's like its own city, dude. It's like massive. There's like what, 5 million people that live there or something. There's plenty of people in Chicago to make this work. And you already have the local knowledge of being able to say, hey, these neighborhoods are good. There's a lot you could do for that. And I find people are, like, especially if people are like, hey, I'm Chicago native. I've been here for like 20 years, blah, blah, blah. It just carries more credibility. Trying to do this on a national level takes a whole lot more testing, a whole lot more work, and it's easier to do local. I would rather do 10 local sites than one national site.
So would you just offer basically everyone, hey, I'll make your site, or would you like, hey, I'll run traffic to Chicago and home services. I'll send you customers for whatever service it is and run it that way?
You're talking about picking an agency model at this point now, brother. That's a big decision for you to make around like what type of service you're able to deliver.
Because if you, I'm gonna use this example. So you go to them and say, give me $5,000, I'll give you leads. Well, whenever you do that, the minute they write you to check, they expect the phone to ring, which is good. But you need to kind of have an estimate of how much volume they can get. because
Right.
they may only get 30 leads a month, and that 5,000 they're gonna get pissed about it because like, why am I paying you if I'm not getting this stuff? So keep that in mind. What I would do is probably say, hey, every lead we get you. What I would like to do is charge them to even rank on the site, and then every lead we get you is X number of dollars. That would be one of the things I would do. Or I would just go out and contact all these guys. Hey, basically, I'm building a review site. I'm going to be doing pay-per-click in your area. We're only going to work with 5, I'm making this up, HVAC contractors. We're going to be driving traffic to the review site. We're going to be generating approximately 638 leads per month. How many of those 638 leads can you handle?
Okay.
You know?
And then last part of the question is, given your expertise in home services, which categories would you focus on? Let's say top 3, and which ones would you just stay away from? Or I guess which 3 would you focus
Dude, I would go high back because, dude, if my electricity has got a short and my lights don't cut on, I'm flipping the breaker and going in a hotel because I'm not burning my house down. That generally electrical issues aren't a big deal.
Okay.
They don't really happen. My HVAC dies, I'm calling you or somebody today because I do not want to sweat.
Anything just above electric.
Exactly.
Is this like the electric is like, because you don't know what kind of mess you're getting into? Everything else is just about instant fix.
Yes.
Help me out. Could be small problem, which means there's a lot more people that want that kind of work.
Exactly. Because I could have a frozen condenser, which is basically I just need to flip the breaker, dethaw it. Maybe I'm out of Freon. Maybe I got a Freon leak. Maybe I got a copper coil leak. Maybe the whole thing is dead and I got to go spend $12,000. And maybe I bought a train and I realize I hate trains. The reality of it is, and I get in there, it's like, you know what, dude, your ductwork, the cats and dogs or your possums ate all your ductwork. Now you need new ductwork. And then you need a new register, new return. The ductwork's got to be insulated. It gets into these much bigger problems. Dude, HVAC is like my number one thing. And if you got a plumber,
door HVAC, and that was kind of like an AC offer I considered running, where it's like you try to go door to door and etc.
And think about this: if you got a plumbing problem, okay, me and my wife called the plumber because my daughter's sink wouldn't go down. I Dranoed it, I snaked it, I put a big snake thing in there. I couldn't fix it. Plumber comes, he unscrews these little, he just takes the P-trap out, fixes it, and I'm like, oh, that's easy enough. The reality of it though is stick with one, master one for your others. Because plumbing, unless you got a flooding plumbing problem, it's a problem, but I can get a plunger, I get liquid Drano. Dude, there is no way in the world I'm walking out to my AC with a screwdriver.
Right.
Think about this. I grew up in construction. I have a degree in engineering. I built my own house. I did. That's what my background is, and I still will not take a screwdriver to a high vac unit. Just not happening.
It's a great way to die.
Yes, right. If you've ever seen dumb ways to die, HVAC unit will do it for you. They're dangerous, dude.
Is there anything else outside of HVAC that's kind of more niche down or not as common?
Well, you've got residential, commercial, industrial, commercial, residential high vac units.
Residential is probably going to be the one that'll benefit from running any type of offer too. Commercial is going to be, that's a lot of RFP, RFQ, and referral and contract. There's a lot of small guys that would be willing to take advantage of an offer that you put together surrounding HVAC businesses that are just about at every revenue level.
Yes, because when you hit commercial and industrial, like he said, there's bidding. There's a bidding process. We're building a new Google data center. You can bid on it. These guys can get massive contracts to keep them busy for a while. The residential guys, once you fix it, you don't really need to do anything other than maintenance once a year. There's really not much that needs to be done to it.
It's easier to sell those services, whatever offer you want to sell, to the guys who come chucking a truck.
Yes, exactly.
I ran an offer for backup home generators, right? $10,000 item at least. It was great. It wasn't a necessity though, so that's why I didn't convert as well. We got a ton of contractors on board. We got them a ton of leads, but they weren't converting because it wasn't I don't need it, and they don't have.
Well, that's because I think about the type of person and business you're fueling with that. Like those guys don't have the nurture sequence built out to sell that to those guys. Like they don't have any of that knowledge to know how to do that. They don't know what Go High Level is. They don't know what MailChimp is. They don't know any of that. They just know who they call to order it, how to put it in, how not to set the place on fire when they put it in. Right. Yes. And like you can sell and run home generator offers. And I think that's a really good idea because that lets you target like super high end income neighborhoods, but you need a fulfillment source if you want to make the money, because none of those companies you sell those offers to are going to have any of the nurture sequence unless you do like a done for you or done with you, probably done for you service.
Well, that was kind of what I was thinking, maybe using some voice AI or some real humans to do kind of the sales process. Like, what's your square footage? What are you looking for? 1 story, 2 story,
Dude, I'll give you, I'm the perfect example. Guess what? My neighbors have massive propane generators. Most of my neighbors do. Guess what I don't have? Propane generator. You know what my argument is? The last time the power went out was like 12 years ago when I was out for a week when the power lines broke because we had a snowstorm. We have hurricanes all the time. Like I trust my local electric cooperative to get me power. You know, like I mean, I know this is the crazy thing, dude. My neighbors probably have 5 or 6 cars in the yard. They're really nice. But the thing is, like, I don't even care about a generator. I'm going to go to my mom's house. And if it's that bad, I'm just going to go on vacation. I mean, literally, like I'm like the worst person to sell a generator to. But every one of my neighbors practically has this. And this is the key. High income neighborhoods with stuff to lose. Most of my neighbors have multiple garages, friggin' freezers filled up with beer, fish, and shrimp and everything else you can imagine. And to them, it's a big deal to lose that. The local electric cooperative for $10 a month, they will put in a Gen Tech generator because it's through the cooperative.
Generac or whatever.
That's it. Yeah. And my thing is, I never think about it. And whenever we have a storm, I'm thinking, damn, I should probably put something like this in. But you know what? I truly trust my electric cooperative. You can't sell those to middle income. You can only sell them to high income houses, high income neighborhoods. And the problem you're going to get is in my neighborhood, you got to put it around a fence and build this friggin' fence around it because they're eyesores and nobody wants to see it. We have underground power. So that, that becomes a whole new thing. But the problem with the generators are my trust is in the electric company to fix my problems. That's why I pay them every month.
Yeah.
Well, Charles, I'm going to throw a Portland problem at you since you like it out here. Because the power goes out when it snows. And when it snows here, they don't plow. So if your house is on a hill, there's no way you're getting down. That's got ice on it. You are homebound. So there's no driving over to your mom's house, especially if you live on Lake Oswego on a hill. You're dead because the roads are filled, and the people who are driving around in the snow. This is the place where you see those videos on the news where people are banging into each other in the snow. That is definitely Portland or Seattle. So
okay, I will give y'all something to laugh about. Everyone I know, including myself, has a big ass 4-wheel drive. That's what we have. We live in the South. It is what it is. When we had snow about 12 years ago, you see Jeeps in the ditch. And I'm like, how do you take a Jeep and put it in a ditch? The thing's 4-wheel drive. Got 35-inch Mickey Thompson tires on it, and you're in a ditch. I see that stuff all the time. But dude, I would stick with high vac. I would do residential high vac and go with it. And then once I sell these cats leads, I would eventually build out some type of business where I would coach them and consult them about how to grow the rest of the business. But dude, like that's going to be your key.
So Charles, would you start off with, how would you review an HVAC company? Is that ChatGPT is not going to help you with that.
It's
right?
called BS. It's called BS, dude. I'm gonna go into the Google reviews, pick out the ones that look the best.
I think you could tell ChatGPT to figure that out, but like you need to understand what the business you're targeting has in terms of like what are good indicators for them to be a good fit for your ticket, for whatever your ticket is at. you need to give ChatGPT Pro Mode or Grok or Claude or Manus or whatever agentic platform you want to use. You need to give it like, does it meet these? If it doesn't, don't give it to me, right? And like you can come up with your own weighted system. Like if you have a conversation with ChatGPT, you can figure out like what most of those businesses in your rev range or rev markers that you want to target have, and then send the agent out on its journey. But like you have to give it the context and like the guide rails to understand what to pick for you. Otherwise, it's just going to say everybody does a great job and everybody's a great fit, and like you got to figure that out, and like you got to give it that context.
And I'm going to use this. If I see somebody who's got like 7,000. You got 7,000 Ford.
Bro, that's a 30 to 40 truck outfit all day, or somebody's backed with private equity. 100%.
Exactly. And when you see that, when you go to those guys, they may want to talk, but they already have stuff figured out, dude. Like they've got something figured out.
That's a long play. Let me introduce myself. Let me keep checking in. Let me provide you some value. Hey, did you know this? Or, hey, I saw this happening. You may want to say something to your team, so on and so on and so on and so on. Like you're going to have, and like one look at somebody's fleet or their address to see how big their yard is. You guys will be able to figure that out.
Because when you see like 30,000 reviews, you're not selling them anything.
They're gonna be like you're gonna hit the corporate spam filter,
right? At that point, it's just not happening. And the thing is, like at that point, they're advertising on radio, which they are radio, TV. They've got pay-per-click ads. They've got newspaper ads. They got magazine. They're everywhere. Now, the guy right here, James Mechanical,
fantastic option.
46 reviews. So let's pretend he's done 150 jobs.
He might be on a little lower. Might be on the lower end, but like that's perfect. Exactly what you want to see.
I would at least.
What's your pitch?
Dude, I can get leads for you. Basically, this is who I am. This is how we get leads. Would you like some of these leads?
Scroll down a little bit, Charles. Is he maintaining that GBP? Fuck no, he's not.
Like even just offering to fix this for the dude. Offer to fix, hey, you know what? Your knowledge panel has a little problematic issues. You know what? Even if you showed him how to get more reviews, dude, he would be happy. He would be happy.
What do you price it at?
Whatever you want it to be. See, that's the thing. Like, what is it worth? What is any of this actually worth? And I'm gonna use an example. Like the guy that's got a couple hundred of these things, like 400. I mean, like this dude could just be one. Literally, he could be one dude in a truck.
Chuck in a truck, baby.
Yep.
That's like easy high level money. Easy. Let's build your list, and like let's build your here's an ecosystem for you to build your business on that you can scale on. Like here's the $297 a month like high level offer, and like you throw in ads manager, and like you your training video on how to use meta ads. Like fantastic opportunity. Then you step up to somebody who's got like 400 leads or something, and like now you're offering them that. And then you're offering them like local SEO deployment and management, and you're like offering to bring systems along with them or help them with systems implementation to organize leads and manage the front end of the business. Like, you just got to figure out what those problems are. And again, this is also worth asking something that's better at deep research, like Grok or Claude. I want to target this industry. What are their pain points at this revenue? What are their pain points at this revenue? What are their pain points at this revenue? Like you pick 3 rev ranges, right? And go out and let it go out and build your pain point profile for you, because it'll get on all of the corporate marketing websites for each industry. It'll get on surveys if somebody's like published a PDF that they weren't supposed to from those the boomer-esque service industry pages. Like it'll get that data too. So like you let AI figure out what the problems are for you.
Yes,
they'll tell you, and then you can take your knowledge and you can adjust what those pain points actually are based on what you actually factually know.
And think about this: when you see family owned and operated, it's a small business.
Oh yeah. Those guys are job to job. They need to figure out how to get more. They need to attract people. They need more high ticket jobs. They need less. They want less like $99 drain clog jobs, and like they want more full home systems, or they want repipes and stuff like that for homes. Like those are easy people all day long. You just got to make sure that you're not coming off like a scumbag.
The sales part's easy, I feel like, to master, but it's the fulfillment side where it's like, you got to make sure I can fulfill on, like, you want more big jobs, like, okay, here you go. But that's where it's like, well, how do you deliver that? And is that what the Google course is going to be?
Yes, more clicks. And by the way, and I can show you just a disconnect. It appears he's showing just a regular carrier unit, which is most likely residential. You land on this page, and all I see is a return register and a drop ceiling with 2x2 tiles, which means commercial, which means not residential. And dude, like most of these people have websites that suck. And if you look at Powered by House Call Pros,
oh, that's all I needed to see. House Call Pro, that thing is garbage.
It's a template that they're using. And by the way, these guys,
it's like stealing money from them. Like House Call, like you can come in and out deliver House Call all day.
So my landscape clients are using that. So why are you saying that? Is it something that they can replace with high level? They feel like they can't replace it because it dispatches.
Right. And that's like the one piece that House Call does well. And the other point is like you can pipe just about any data that you need to into those softwares. The reason, like, don't get me wrong, as a system for the business of like scheduling, invoicing, route management, all those things, like House Call does that great. But like just because they're using House Call Pro to operate the business does not equal successful digital marketing for them.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Yeah,
these are two totally different things, and these guys will give you. I mean, behind the scenes, man, it's great. It's easier than trying to zap this stuff all over the place. I tell you that, but like. What they're trying to, I mean, other fact, I can't read this thing. And by the way, another thing
Charles, is that because they're cycling you through like social posts? So let's say that they've created 1,000 templates and they just sort of cycle people sort of through them.
Mm-hmm. It's like that. Some of it's like, I'm sorry, I'm talking over Charles because
go, because dude, we're both
you
excited.
Go for it.
You go for it.
The reason that companies like this do not deliver quality service at the endpoint of your customer is because most of them are heavily invested in the software and operational side, which is once it's built, it's low cost to maintain.
Yes.
Right. And that's SaaS, software as a service in general. Mm-hmm. Right. The digital marketing side costs more, although now it's getting easier for large businesses and large software corporations to do delivery for that with agents. It requires human input. It requires understanding of that business and understanding of that market, and generic fulfillment from a large corporation like House Call Pro. That's a massive company. That's a really sizable company. When they have to get down at the mom and pop market level, you can almost guarantee that nobody's taking the time to look at that market, understand what they need, fill the gaps, and then actually deliver them outcomes they actually need for their business. So like you can, as a software provider like House Call Pro, you can provide the one-to-many model, right? Which is what they're doing. Or you as a digital marketing specialist or marketer specialist can come in and provide the one-to-one model, which is I'm going to help you grow your business in your market and fulfill the gaps that you don't have and fulfill them in a way that are actually going to provide excellence in customer experience. Right.
So there's
a radically different story. Those are radically different things.
That was helpful because one of the things that I've had a conversation with someone, because I'm learning all this and I'm really trying to focus on right audience matching and things like that. It's this idea that stuff doesn't really matter, that social is just like
social does
like
great.
People just
but it's a part of the plan. It's not a single delivery method.
Yeah.
Right, especially for those home-based businesses
Yeah.
where there are more emergent needs. The when you can get them to embrace social as a part of the operational plan, it's fantastic because then they start making funny stuff and they start collaborating with local businesses because everybody like you walk into like if an HVAC guy takes 5 calls in a day, you can bet 2 of them are it's somebody who owns a business in their home. And like that's a fantastic opportunity for them to connect. And it's like it's getting them to bridge the gap, especially blue collar folk, getting them to bridge the gap and understand technology and social media. When you can get them to do that, it's a fantastic outcome. Just know that it's a road and like it takes time to get them there. And it can be a part of it, but as the primary delivery source, unless it's just meta ads, and even then that's super top of funnel and like not ready to convert, you still got some work ahead of you in terms of like fulfilling their actual business needs. But thank you for asking that because I live in this world of digital marketing where I'm constantly having to smash people in the face that love these one-to-many platforms, and Charles sees me do it in my content all day because I know Charles stalks all my Facebook stuff.
You actually got good content. You got good content.
Listen, that's just because I know my sector, bro. That's because I know their pain points because I've lived it, and that's something else to think about, guys. Is when you understand the pain points that your market has, your addressable market has, you can speak to them in ways that none of these other companies ever will.
And that's the value of what we're doing here. So that's what I was explaining to like my finance person why I can't give this up. Like, you know, basically like this stuff is the engine underneath that's gonna help make, that's helping make you guys a lot of money and a lot of other people that are just getting started like me. The one question that I also had, Charles, or either one, anybody, is when you're doing like a form as well, do you want to have one form and collect the page source individually? Like
you could do that.
I know
that's one way.
I like to have them all individual forms with their own thank you pages. I didn't know if you guys had.
Can you tag them?
Yeah.
I mean, either way, you could tag them. You could have one form that's got a tag, HiVac, or can you just embed one form with a tag that will basically insert? There's so many different ways to do it.
Yeah, it's really dependent on what your stack looks like.
It automatically, like just collect the page source and then segment it, like when we're looking at data. Because part of it is I want to know which landing pages people are converting on.
What are you using for fulfillment, if you don't mind me asking? Like if you're talking about landing pages and all that.
Yeah, so like when they submit the landing page, what is the form?
Yeah, what is it? What's the stack built on? What's the software it's built on? The landing page.
The insurance company, they use like Advisor Evolved or something like that, which is another big company. And but they're using Gravity Forms. They're using Gravity Forms inside of there.
Okay, I mean, you can definitely program that to like pass invisible segments.
Correct.
And whatever you're passing it into can look for that and add a tag. Like that's super like at that point it's like whichever one is going to get you the most complete data in the least amount of time and or pass it back as first party to whatever platform is asking for it, whether Google or Meta.
And am I just basically looking for the parameters? I would just sort of pull like page location source and like the form ID or anything like that.
I mean, it depends on what you set up.
The page source.
It depends on what you set up. It really does. It's usually like you could, and you're just off the top of my head, it would be like page URL, detect page URL, if form submit and load thank you page count conversion.
Yep.
Okay.
I wish. Okay, guys, y'all will laugh at this. Okay, we were talking earlier about doing these reviews.
Oh, here's one. Damn.
The 27. Okay, we have to have 7. The 27 best HiVac tools for 2025, as recommended by who gives us the most affiliate commissions. But
boom,
they're doing this, and when you land on it, you may not. Okay, everyone's probably in this business have heard of House Call Pros, but guess what? They drop you on the page. You're reading it. Of course, they're going to use Klein tools. Klein makes good stuff. You're going to go through this because you only got here if you Googled it. And this is not showing up anywhere else. And guess what? And the very best tool at the end will be, guess what?
Bada-bing!
And
House
next
Call Pro
thing-
with their credit card reader and dashboard that ties to QuickBooks.
that made $124,000, you know? And this is the cool thing about it, like building out this content like this. And I just clicked the link. It's built for high-vac professionals. Now, I will tell you, I don't know these guys personally, but I know of them long enough to tell you if the dude's got a tattoo on his arm and glasses, it's there for a reason. I'm just making that statement. None of the things these guys do. Plus, they've got their own mastermind in the back end because once you get a big list of these people, you sell them more stuff. And that's the key. Like, and remember we talked about reviews?
You know what's funny? You know what's funny is both of those companies are shit.
You suck.
But we could compare it to Jobber.
Oh God.
Maybe that got better.
So I have a question touching on all of this. But finish up what you're saying, Charles, because this is kind of like goes hand in hand.
No, this is the thing about it. These guys, like back here. Okay, this tells you a lot about the company. They're paying between $97 to $300 per month or more. They're using a website template. That means they have something baked in the back end. So you're not selling these cats certain things. This site is a template. But what you can sell these cats are probably a landing page that works, social media that works, Google My Business. You could sell them everything post-click, basically, and they would buy it.
Here's a question then, touching on like the offer side of things, because I think Gabe, you mentioned it, like becoming an agency. I don't necessarily want to become an agency because it's just a bunch of hassles and all this whatever. Not opposed, but not really what I've been doing thus far. I guess for context, I own Chicagoland Home Services. We're like basically nothing. It's just me, and I would always outsource and subcontract work out and then open up different markets across America. In short, like what Charles was saying, I know the market in Chicago. Why not really own it and dive back into that? So what I had in mind is just kind of a pay per call basis, right? And so I would buy calls from publishers and then just use my retriever account, Ringba call rail, and send it out to the local guys. There's a couple headaches there, right? But the process was like, okay, if I can make $20, $40 per call profit, well, if I do 100 calls a day, that's $2,000 profit. Pretty nice. If I do a little bit more, then whatever, just extra profit, right? The issue there then is like you don't control. It could be a good call, but if they suck at sales, they don't answer the call, then there's issues. So then that's where kind of like it came to mind, like, hey, what if I use like voice AI to pre-qualify them, set an appointment or something along those lines so I can control the whole flow? But knowing that, I guess, what would you guys do? What wouldn't you guys do?
I think the AI is a good idea. But at the same time, like it's making sure that your analytics are set up in a way that shows that the call was sent and that whether or not it bounces to voicemail or if they picked it up or if it just truncated in the transfer and like they sign terms that just says under no like unclear circumstances, like these are the outcomes that will happen. We have a reporting that tells us which way or the other, and like you just make sure that, and like listen, you could vibe code a tool with this, like in your eyes with your eyes closed, of like how your calls are reported, and like just be super transparent with them. And as long as if you're not pulling the wool over their eyes and you're honest and they're truly not answering the phone, they'll have their own set of problems with that and immediately change that behavior because you've set the expectation on the front end. Because Charles, I love giving this example is like the Joker said it the best. It doesn't matter if everybody dies at the end. If you told them they were going to die, nobody's going to panic.
I like that idea.
It's all about setting the expectations.
Yes.
Yeah, so my issue hasn't been like them dropping calls more so, but it's just it's more so like fulfilling. Like, hey, I can get guys all day. It's a great offer. It's like you only pay if a call lasts. So I'll give you the script how to qualify these people. That's not an issue. My issue has just been fulfillment. That's why, Charles, I've been so excited to like go through your course. I'm like, I can finally control my supply. But outside of controlling my own supply with like internal traffic or whatever you want to call it, have you guys worked with any white label companies or other publishers that can work on like a duration model, performance model that has backed out? Like I've worked with like the Angie, or not the Angie, sorry, but like the big names, I'm blanking right now, right? These publishers like
Dude,
the Circle
performance
Direct,
models
those guys.
suck in this business because
Yeah.
let's say me and Gabe do high vac. We make $200,000 this month. End of the month, I'm like, dude, I don't know if I want to pay Joe. I mean, do you really think we should pay Joe 10% or 2% of that contract? I mean, the guy heard of us before. We did call him. What did he do? Man, then I'm going to call you like, dude, no, nothing worked out. Performance generally does not work because they look at how much they're paying you in the end. Or at least for me, I've always got screwed on a performance deal for these things.
So how would you structure? Would you just pay per like a retainer model? Like, hey, I'll get you as many calls, or you cover the ad spend plus some, or
I just do the retainer. Like I want my money, whether your money works or not, I don't care. I want my money.
Listen, man, you can systemize fulfillment on your end to lower operational costs to keep your margin high, especially now with agents and how all of this is how it's like coming out, and like you can literally create your own MCPs like in a day, and you can control your end of that to make it sustainable.
Yes.
And like maximum value delivery for them. And if you just like you put your best foot forward on that and make sure that you're maximizing the amount of value that they're going to get in terms of like opportunities, and you do that ungated, then those dudes will pay you each month. But like you got to take the time to make sure that your internal system's scaled to match that. And what's that?
How are you balancing that also with like low quality content that the AIs put out? Like,
I mean, it's all
and different things.
It's all in the prompting. You listen, be wizards at prompting. Please go find John Mast. John Mast is a good friend of mine. John Mast is somebody who I knew before he grew into being the person that he is with AI. He's got a bunch of courses out there. They're like 99. They're like between $47 and $97. Once you get inside of his ecosystem, he teaches you about prompting. Truthfully, like prompting is 90% of the problem. Yes. And please use another tool besides ChatGPT. Use something like Claude is going to write the best copy out of all of the models out there. Grok is getting much, much better. ChatGPT is still great, but like you need to be really intentional about the prompting that you set. And you also need to pay very close attention about other things that you talk to ChatGPT about, because it will influence your outputs because it has permanent memory.
Yes.
So just think about all of those things, but prompting is the single most important skill that you will learn as a marketer in anything that you do related to copy. Prompting.
On that topic, if I charge them a retainer, but only let's say 3 calls come through in a month,
that means your pay-per-click is broken.
Yeah, that means your fulfillment's broken, and you better fucking fix it. Pardon my French. Like, you better fix that shit.
Run the ads through their like brand account then, and all the reviews, and just do it that way. Like, hey, $2,000 or whatever you charge them, and I'll run it through their brand, their Google Analytics.
Yes, dude, that's what I do.
Yeah, that's the best way. You ensure that like it's really clear that like, look, this is what's happening. You own the strategy. I'm not keeping it from you. None of the, and like the level of these guys are like not going to like take your strat and run. So like you can run it that way. And truthfully, like I'm sure that if you really do have a bad month and like you don't deliver for them, you could probably afford to like comp them a little bit next month, or you find another value add to give them to help them. Right. And like that's where you kind of have to balance it with the relationship.
Dude, look at this. I'm a back up. Think about this for a minute.
Cool. Sorry, go ahead, Charles.
No, think about this. Okay, so Barry's a client of mine. Barry pays me whatever amount of money. And guess what? Barry, this is in I think I'm sharing my screen, right?
We see Discord.
Okay, stop sharing my share. I always screw this part up. The technology at its finest. Okay, Barry pays me a flat rate every month. And guess what I do for Barry? I do my best. And guess what? Let's just look at this for the mortgage leads here. We're going to go back. Look at this. Let's just go back. I'm just going to randomly pick one. If you look at this thing, this is what we do for Barry. Barry is a client. We get Barry lots of leads very cheaply. Barry's happy. Guess what? Barry's spending the money. He's putting his own money up for this. I'm going to go select a campaign. Let me go here. Let's do a search campaign. Guys, that's the thing about it. We're getting mortgage leads for this cat for, in this case, $25, $16. And you know what? Barry pays me a flat rate. Once I figure that out, then I can go to other people in Chicago and go, hey, you know what? I can get leads for this much and this much. But why would you not get paid by somebody else to do this? My thought process is you get paid up front to do this the very first time, figure out how much it costs you to do it. Like most people aren't getting $25 mortgage leads in Chicago.
Right.
But once you figure it out, you can take it anywhere.
Yep. And you just gotta be willing to be honest, and like the more clear and transparent you are, the more blue collar people will trust you.
Yes.
And even if it's words they don't like to hear on the front end, like, listen, it can take a month for us to get this really dialed in and pumping out leads for you. Just rest assured that like you are going to own all of it at the end of it.
Because what they don't want to do is pay for you to own it. They've already been screwed by.
They've done that 12 times already.
Right. Angie's List.
Right. Everyone has issues. So my sales pitch thus far, like, listen, I own Chicago and Home Services. We figured out a marketing strategy. It's worked well for us. I'm looking to expand to other markets, other cities. If you guys can handle more jobs, this is will come in. You know, it's no upfront cost. We'll run the ads. We work on performance. So we send you guys 10 calls. We add $20 to the cost of each call. Rinse and repeat. You're busy 1 week, we pause. You're able to handle more jobs, we continue. Super simple.
And you're fine. And the problem you're finding right now is
it's just people like there's actually it's just the fulfillment side. So I can get the buyers easy because again, I think the sales pitch kind of speaks for itself. It's like it's a good offer.
That's good offer.
Right?
Okay,
and
so zero click is stealing your traffic. That's what I'm hearing. Zero click is stealing your traffic.
No. So what I've been doing is I've just been buying from publishers and I've just been brokering these out. And so I pay my publishers monthly net 30. These guys pay me weekly net 7. So it's kind of been like it's been working well. I just don't have more supply. That's where, again, going back to Charles' course, I'm like, internally, if I know that it costs me $40, $50, well, I'm just going to tag on $20, $30, sell it to these guys. But right now I'm buying through these big networks, the Service Directs, the Ring Partners, all those guys, and they take a 200% margin. So that's where it's like, hey, if a lead is costing $40, they're going to sell it to me for 80. I got to sell for 100, 110. Right. And then at that point, the margins for the contractor are sometimes like this. I have a guy, a plumber in Cleveland. He got a 4.8 ROI on our traffic. So he's really happy. He's just like, we're at capacity. So he had to pause, right? So that's kind of the headache. I can just go to another guy in the area, not a problem. But it's been really good thus far. I just want more supply so I can control it at a lower cost and not rely on my publishers, if that makes sense.
So yeah, I mean, you need media buying for sure.
Because what's going to happen? This is the bigger issue. As much as I'd like to believe that these people will stay with you long term, as the business itself evolves, which it has, the lead generation business has evolved. They're getting pitched probably every stinking day with somebody who's going to offer you cheaper leads than yours, and you can't compete with that. And then when they max out, it takes a lot of depending on your profit margin, it takes a lot of motivation to go buy another truck, get more people, train them. They got to be certified.
So that means you need to meet the value. Your value needs to rise to meet the market. So it can't just be lead gen and it can't just be calls. Like there needs to be other value included that you can fulfill for them. And that's the hole that you need to find.
And now I think I found that hole, and I want your 2 cents on it, where it's like, and I'm giving away all my secrets, nothing held back to everyone, so everyone's more welcome to take their own thing, take it, record it, whatever, it doesn't matter. There's plenty of juice for everyone. But it's like, okay, the next evolution today is like, hey, I want to use voice AI to like, hey, as the call comes in, like, hey, is this a service call? Is this an emergency? No. Okay, great. Let me get you to the scheduling department or whatever it is and kind of filter it out that way. Or, for example, for like bathroom or kitchen, set the appointment and it would be a virtual appointment, so over Zoom, so that there's not little conflict. I showed up, both homeowners weren't home, it was a waste of my time, whatever. But it's like, okay, step one is like, let's schedule a Zoom call. They hop on the Zoom call, it's already the second interaction. Then if it's like, okay, well, let's share your screen, let me see your kitchen, what are you looking to do? Okay, hey, now the next step is let me come on site if there's a reason for me to come on site. And that way I can sell this set appointment for $250, $300, $400, depends on the
You're
market.
selling a very different ecosystem now. And see, that's actually exciting. That's exciting.
And that's kind of what I want to get into. That's where it all starts with the Google Ads. If I can control my own supply, then it's like I can elevate into there. That's why I understand why I'm like DMing you, Charles.
So you've never purchased Google Ads before,
Never, and that's why I'm so. That's why I wanted to
bro?
join
Please go sign up for AdsB. Like AdsB will be it's a massive AI assistance tool that will help you with Google Ads. Charles's course is fantastic, and it would only enhance Charles's thing because like you listen, the amount of data that's inside Google Ads, sometimes it's hard to see it all. And you can get a tool that connects to it like AdsB. Fantastic.
AdsBee.
It's ADSBY. ADSBY AdsB.
And dude, think about this. This is the challenge you have. If you're selling the leads and you've got this on the back end, if you can get those leads down more efficiently from a cost, you're bidding on them, you're sending them to a review site, just a landing page or whatever. What you're selling has value. And if you can make the contractor more efficient, dude, that has value. That's got a lot of value.
But that's what I'm saying. And again, I come from the background like, hey, I own Chicagoland Home Services, which are gonna have the website, have the
dude. You and I you're running a very similar model because you're running the trust model. Is because that's what I do. I run a 7-figure detail shop, and I work with detail shops all across the country, including I know the biggest one in Chicago. I know the owner. That's Jason Otterness. Jason is the man. Go see him. He owns the Bays, not Chicago Auto Pros, separated now. All right. You want your car detailed, you go see Jason at the Bays. But like we all kind of do similar things is we build that engine, that trust engine on industry experience, and it lowers sales resistance. And then we can pitch them these services like this. And what you're talking about is very, very different. And I like the virtual consult thing. And I think that's probably like the best way to lead with this. I will get you more serious buyers, and you don't even need to leave your home, or like you don't need to leave the truck. All you have to do is open your phone and join a Zoom call, because most homeowners are savvy enough to like open Zoom. It's friendly enough. And you can pitch it that way, and I think you'd probably be really successful. And then you've got the AI triage, which is another great tool. Like you can do that with high level, and like they just overhauled their AI voice, so like that should be super easy to do.
And dude, think about this. I'm gonna give you something to think about. If you came to me and says, "I'll get you more leads," man, I've heard that 12 times today. You're gonna get me more qualified leads. Like you're just saying, I don't need to leave the office. You can educate them, and that education can very quickly. And that's why like your social media you should be putting out content about this. You should be building out content, because when they Google you and they see nothing but I own Chicago Homeland, you need to demonstrate your expertise. And when you do that, dude, it's a completely different animal.
And I have contractorcalls.com, that domain. I also have like the call exchange. So kind of like,
but it needs content on it. It needs content. It literally needs content. Because without that content, dude.
Great model to see. Any flaws, anything you would touch on there? Or add on?
What did you say? I'm sorry.
So the offer I just gave you guys on kind of the thought process. Any holes in there that you guys would fix? Or? I
mean, there's going to be holes in everything. You're going to find all of it. Like honestly, like start a new chat in ChatGPT, and just like give it the context of the offer and like authority that you bring, and like tell it what your problems are, and just like ideate it and run through it with this. I think you've gotten all super important stuff from us. If we were to try and answer every single thing or question that you have, we'd be here for another 3 hours. But I think you got the meat and potatoes from everything that we can offer you right now.
Hell yeah, I appreciate that, guys.
And
hey,
dude,
Joe,
to wrap up, Gabe, with
Hey, Joe, instead of doing voice AI, get with me, because I have a text AI. Nobody wants to talk to each other, so we get a text AI. You could test it out right now.
See, that would be cool. The thing is, dude, you're in a 5 million person market. There's everyone from every other country arbitraging your leads, is, I mean, I would be doing it as well. Everyone from everywhere is hitting up Chicago, New York. You know, you're one of the top 5 cities in the US. Every one of your people are hit with something. They have to believe and trust in you. So let me ask you a question. Do you have a personal Joe site where you talk about this stuff? Like, are you showing your, because
Yeah, that has to be founder led.
yes.
I have old footage and old content, like me, because we started as a door-to-door company, right? So I had like pictures of me knocking doors, like, yo, look, I'm at this door knocking, got the jacket branded, etc., but not a formal like landing page. But that's also been in the back of my mind.
I'm gonna show you this. Give this food for thought. MedTech fractional CO. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm number 6 for MedTech fractional CO. If I click on this, it's going to be a friggin' 8,000 word blog article about med technology. Guess what? People pay me when they read all this now, like they go through the bottom of this thing, they're like, yeah, maybe Charles is trustworthy. Dude, you have to be willing to showcase your expertise. That's going to make everything else lead easier, because what you're saying, I can make up exactly what you said. Doesn't have to be real, but they need to believe you first before they believe anything else. You need to trust market the daylights out of these people, because while you do have something unique, does anybody really know it? You know?
No, that's awesome.
Lead with value, man. That's all I'll tell you. Give them the sauce, whatever that sauce is. 9 of them don't know how to implement it. Tell them what it is, give it to them, help them, give them something of value they can use that's going to match their pain points. And like, just to give selflessly, you could even run it on autopilot with cold email, and you will get appointments and you will get people as long as you're willing to give. Just give.
Because think about this.
That's it.
You're dealing with high-vat contractors who don't want to know about marketing. They just want to fix more ACs. Everything else you do on top of that is creating conflict. All they want to know is, are you trustworthy? Yes. Can they see videos and images and things you've written? Yes. Can they believe you? Yes. Then that's 90% of your challenge.
Charles, I need you to start rendering those videos, and I'm going to be the first one to complete your course. But hell yeah.
I will. And I got to hop off this call. I'm going to jump on another one, guys. I've enjoyed it. I'll get it rendered out, and have a good one.
Catch you guys later.
You guys.